And now, the starting lineup of your favorite show. At producer, 5'11" from Blanchester, the Cow Killer, Casey McCollister. And comic engineer, standing at 4'8", the pride of the West Side, Elliot Rearing. And your host, weighing 150 pounds, soaking wet, from Hamilton, Ohio, Ace Fowler.
I am not the host. This is not my show. This isn't even our show. It's your show. This is Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. As we come live every day on YouTube from 10 a to 12 p, live on 1410 Wing AM from 1 p to 3 p. But we have a good show for you guys today. After spending all day pretty much with you guys, watching the game, having Off the Bench, you saw Elliot's premiere of his Man on the Street, which was a fantastic video. Congratulations. That was fantastic, Elliot. So I just want to give you some props there. We have a fun show for you today. And in the back half of the show, we're gonna bring back Reed's top 5. Ooh. We're gonna bring back Mailbag. Ooh. We're gonna talk about college. But for the beginning of the show, we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Redlegs and yeesh or sheesh.
Sheesh.
Not great.
Sheesh. It's not good.
Not great.
It's not good. 8 straight series losses. We'll talk about all that and more. The producer's table, Casey McCollister. Casey, you're looking lovely as always.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Reed. I appreciate that.
I like the Cincinnati Red shirt.
Yeah, I got this from my mom a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, nice. Shout out Susan.
That's right.
Shout out Susan. Ellie Rue, nice to see you. You're wearing your Bengals gear.
I am. It's Bengals season, baby. Joe Burrow, I keep seeing those videos. The wrist looks strong. No need for that wrist to grow anymore.
The hammock bone is
the wrist bone's fine. We're ready to roll, baby. Hoo-day. Hoo-day indeed. Listen, Kirby did the little thing. He's making sure that my sentiment that the Red season was over is going to be intact for the rest of the season. He can do that, but I think I'm in a great spot now. I'm in a great spot today. I'll tell you what, they almost won the series. They almost got it.
Luckily, they got an easy one starting tonight.
Yeah.
They got an easy one starting tonight. Over on this side of the room, we've got Jacob Tissett. Jacob, no Cincinnati gear.
It's dark time in the area.
It was close.
It was close for a while.
That's right.
It was close for a while. 4-4 almost the whole game. And then
we almost had a Nick Martini miracle. Well, we had the Nick Martini miracle.
If only Ellie would have scored on that slide he got thrown out at home.
That was a bad look.
We would have won the game. We would have won the game.
That was a bad look on your guys' behalf.
What?
But we'll get into that later. Jimmy C, rocking the City Connect hat.
Oh, yeah, City Connect Friday.
Look at this guy. He's a Detroit diehard, and he comes in, he wears the Bengals hat, he wears the City Connect. He's ready to rock.
Well, the Tiger season is over, too, so.
No, they look great. I saw that box score yesterday. They look good.
They look
a good club.
Has anyone sent out an 8-second clip of you declaring the Tiger season dead?
No.
It's
not dead. All right,
We're going to write some notes about it.
Yeah.
We're going to write some notes about it. That's for sure.
It's not dead because if they do win tonight, it is back on.
Well, they'll cut that out.
I'll tell you what.
That part.
There's a lot of pros and cons with this Reds team. And when I say a lot of pros and cons, I just mean cons. But there's one tiny
There's a couple professionals out there.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's one really positive thing, that it's May 24th now. May 24th. And I'm just numb at this point. The more losses this team accrues over the next several weeks, the more I become numb to it. So just pour on the losses. Just keep dumping it on us, because honest to God, they can't win. There's no scenario in the world where this team wins a game. So they can keep doing whatever they want. Just go out there, have some fun. City Connect Friday.
City Connect Friday.
How can you have a frown on City Connect Friday?
Fireworks too. Wait till you see the fireworks
Turn that
show.
frown upside down.
The
Reds are winning
best part,
tonight.
really.
Wait till you see the fireworks show. If the Dodgers win 10-1, they still celebrate.
Oh,
the
yeah.
fireworks.
No, it's commitment to the bit.
That's right.
Is there any Gapper plush baubles out there today?
I don't know, but you know what will be out there today?
What's that?
The Redzilla, baby.
Redzilla, that guy's a fraud. Cincy B with a super chat. Lowest I've felt since, quote, where are you going to go day. We have another super chat from Cincy B. Oh, you think he's
lowest I've felt
He
You accidentally sent it twice. No refunds. But seriously, I don't know how to refund you. But yeah, so look, he's right.
Is this the lowest you've felt since Where Are You Gonna Go Day?
It's probably the lowest I've felt in quite some time. This is
worse than
Well,
the
I
3-22 stretch.
tweeted out yesterday, like with everything that happened last season coming to this year, I was really excited. Having all this dumped on me right now, it sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. To have the lifeblood of this city brought back, the spirit of the city brought back last season, and then have it just ripped out from the stadium this season, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with myself.
Alex says
yeah.
the Red slander's too much. Do you want me to talk about the one guy hitting 260?
And then ever
There's not much good to talk about.
Well, he didn't play yesterday.
listen. I'm being genuinely, like, we ask you guys sometimes, like, what do you want? I don't know how to spin this positively. Like, it's honestly like grieving. Like, sometimes, like people that have lost someone, they make jokes about that person being gone. It's honestly just grieving. Like, the season's, it's not good. It's not good.
I have one positive news about the Reds.
There we go.
Top 5 in pitching WAR. Only team in the top 5 below 500, 10 games below, but top 5 in pitching WAR.
There you go. And B WAR or F WAR?
F WAR.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one for the pitchers.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
6.2 F WAR with a
Look at
20
that.
and 30 record.
WAR.
That is impossible.
What's it good for?
You know that absolutely nothing. You know what that my favorite segment now at the ballpark will be? They've kind of slowed it down over the past not full year because obviously they started becoming good a little later on in the season, probably right around now. But my favorite segment at the ballpark is when they do Down at the Farm and they show you all the prospects that are going to come up, how good they're playing. I can't wait for the next batch because this batch isn't working too well.
Before we get it, So we talked right before we started the show. He's rocking City Connect hat. Jimmy is because he's going to the game. Jacob's going to the game. Reader Roo's going to the game. What about the producer's desk?
Oh,
Casey, do?
I don't know. I'm up for it. I'm up for.
You're going to see the best player in the world, Shohei Ohtani.
Are you down to clown?
I'm down to clown. I'm down to do the 9-9 challenge.
Oh, that's only on
Not tonight.
Tuesday.
$1,000.
One thing
that's
you're
a
gonna-
lot of money in the Castellini's pocket there.
one thing I will say, I've been to 2 Reds games, and they have not won or played particularly well when I'm there. So
Fire me up! Fire me up! City Connect Friday.
Here's the thing, Jimmy. If you've been to a Reds game in the last, 25 years, that's probably a safe bet. But
Drew Garrison, Super Chat, $5. Use this to get Rita UDF coffee. This
I
is a
have
travesty.
a
What are you
UDF
doing? That's
coffee.
UDF.
right, look at that.
Can you read?
It's
you
no,
read?
it
You
doesn't-
can't see it. It's a little overexposed, but it
It's
says
UDF.
UDF.
I have UDF
United
in my
Dairy
mug.
Farmers. What are we doing here? I'm drinking sponsored coffee.
That's
what
UDF.
we're doing here.
That's UDF. Do you want to do some headlines?
Let's get into the lines of head.
Yes, I can't wait to do. I have some good Reds nuggets here in these headlines.
Oh, good.
So here we go.
Positive only, I said.
Positive only. I'm a positive Reds fan. That's what I am. The Reds, they lose yet again. If you missed it, if you were at work or you just don't like watching them
We
anymore,
watched it together.
we did watch it here. They lost 6-4 in 10 innings. Frankie Montas, he played pretty well. 6 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. I don't know. I thought he was okay. Luis Arias, he had 4 hits yesterday. Back-to-back 4-hit games. 9 consecutive multi-hit games. He has 20 hits in his last 8 games. The Cincinnati Reds have 25 hits in their last 5 games as a team. But,
Luis Arias not good.
yeah,
Confirmed.
he's hitting 380.
Hitting 415 since he joined the Padres.
Yeah, not good, though.
pretty good.
I wish one of our players couldn't hit 340. That's just special stuff.
Yosh with a 5-pound super chat.
What'd he say?
He said, "Bye, I'm done." Yosh, please stay.
Someone reply to Yash. Yash has been complaining about no one replying to his chats.
Yeah, I don't know. I respond to it. I don't know. I just try to keep going here. Fernando Cruz and Alexis Diaz had back-to-back great outings.
Let's go. Let's go. See, all you have to do is get into the 8th with the lead.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to be done.
Yeah.
I know it's an uphill battle at times. But you're getting there.
Sam Moll, not great. Some would say he hasn't been good this season. I'm not saying that, but some would say it. And that everybody overreacted when he got sent down. Again, I'm not saying that. Some are saying it. So shout out to Sam Moll. Looks at that 0.00 ERA, no more. Hurtubise. RBI base hit. Let's give a round of applause, please, to Jacob Hurtubise. Please.
The Herda Beast.
Heard a beast.
Heard a
The
beast.
Herda
Couldn't
Beast.
cash the group bet, though, sadly.
Yeah. That is very sad. We cashed another bet, and I guess we'll get to that in a bit. Nick Martini, he hit the game-tying 2-run shot. This is another fun little nugget I found. Out of the last 16 home runs hit by the Reds, that's the only multi-RBI home run.
Love that. Has a Nick Martini home run ever looked different? It lands in the same spot. I swear that he just has one.
Yeah.
He's just locked in on one seat, and it looks the exact same every single time.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Listen, he's got one ability. And, we talk about the best abilities, availability. The best ability is Nick Martini getting up there once every 15, 25, 35 at-bats and just finding the barrel right in the spot, hitting it to section. I don't know what section's out there, 140-something out in right field. He hits it right there every single time. But that's Nick Martini. He's at 160.
Are you a moon deck or a sun deck guy? If you had to sit in the outfield, sitting in right or left?
Moon deck, probably, right?
You're right field guy.
Yeah,
I'm a left field guy.
Yeah, left field's okay. Left field doesn't have bad seats.
Left field has the sun.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the game, though, that's where it's tough.
Yeah. India. Jonathan India, my guy, your guy, our guy, leader. He refuses to swing a bat. He struck out 3 times. This is a fun little nugget. Shout out to Bryce Spalding for this one. He has a .280 slugging percentage. Woo! Bronson Arroyo slugged .295 in 2008. Bronson Arroyo is a pitcher. Continuing on, Ellie had a double and a golden sombrero.
Special.
How about
He
that?
had the golden sombrero yesterday.
4 strikeouts and a double. Does it get better than this? Who has it better than us?
Golden sombrero.
Nobody.
I took that.
So here's a fun thing. My family, our whole identity is around baseball, right? My dad coached for forever. My brother's a college coach. Everything, cousins, everything. We all played college baseball. We all coach, the whole 9 yards. Me and my dad, once a summer, argue about what a golden sombrero is. He is wrong. He's objectively wrong.
Sure.
He thinks 3 strikeouts is the golden sombrero.
No.
Every time I go, Dad, what the hell are you talking about? 4 strikeouts is a golden sombrero. So we fight about it consistently.
No, yeah, golden sombrero is 4. It's my favorite. It's my favorite accomplishment in sports. I'm sure the Castellinis.
What about the platinum sombrero?
Huh?
What about the platinum sombrero?
I haven't seen one of those. I don't
A
think.
5.
The Castellinis, if they were smart, the way the way the Reds offense gets golden sombreros, there should be another pizza night for that.
Or like
you
a
get
giveaway.
one. You get, instead of a whole small pizza, you get 1 slice.
Melt it down, sell it. Precious
No.
metals are the way we're going.
You get a
Or
taco.
that.
You get a taco. You get a taco sponsor.
Okay, taco.
Everyone
Yeah.
gets a free Doritos
Condado,
Locos Tacos.
right outside.
What if they do a giveaway? And it's
Yeah.
just a golden sombrero with the Reds logo on it?
Yeah, I like that
For
too.
the first.
Good.
For the first.
So we'll
For
continue.
every
8,000
fan,
people?
the
Yeah.
first 9,000 fans, every single one.
Yeah, good news is when you say every fan, it's there's 3,000 that show up. So, Will Benson leads the majors with 72 strikeouts. He added 2 more yesterday. Whoop, whoop. It's tough for this team to lead in anything, but by God, Will Benson leading in strikeouts. That's what we got to cheer for. The Reds, they have 4 wins in the month of May. It's May 24th. Luke Maley said the Bats were finally waking up. Last 6 games, 4 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 0 runs, 3 runs. Here they come. Don't let them get hot.
Spoiler alert, the hits numbers weren't much higher.
Yeah. Again, 25 hits in the last 5 games.
You know what-
Luis Arias, 20 hits in the last 8 games.
You know what the Reds did do? They hit the over on attendance. There was 17,000 listed yesterday, so they hit the over on attendance. I don't.
Rewatch that game.
I agree. But they said 17,000 bought tickets, so congrats to the Reds. They got over 42.
17,000. We have a super chat. We have Ned Flanders. That's a real person. Highlight of the Reds game when Mike Ford flipped off the crowd, jeering him for popping out. Put that on a banner at the entrance to the ballpark. I don't know if that happened.
I missed that if it did.
I hope it did because that's outrageous.
I'm going to look up Mike Ford. I didn't see anybody
Didn't
talking
Jamar
about that.
Chase do that and it was cool? He flipped someone off during a
what?
game.
What?
He did it against the Steelers. He was
Steelers.
flipping off a Steelers player. Minka Fitzpatrick, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Ford was flipping off our
Reds
fan base.
fan.
That's awesome.
Well, he's just
God
built
forbid!
for it,
God forbid we boo him for hitting 150.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
to
should.
be fair to Mike Ford, Nick Kroll told him about 5 times before the season that
Yeah.
he's not a major league player. But
Yeah.
he kept trying, man.
I'll give-
Real quick, Tyler Stevenson didn't play yesterday. Yesterday after the game, David Bell said there wasn't the right scenario where he could be used.
Important stat about Tyler Stevenson: last 15 games, he's batting .340. 4
Ooh.
starters in the game yesterday. We're batting below 200.
Ooh, okay,
Luke
yeah,
did
that's
all right. Luke had a hit, right? He had a hit.
Yeah, and Mike Ford batted in the bottom of the 10th. So what are we talking about?
I guess
The Reds are 20-30. They sit 8.5 back of the divisional lead. James Paxton, 5-0 with a 2.84 ERA tonight. He's taking on Graham Ashcraft, 4.25 ERA. First pitch at 7:10. Maybe I'm going to go. Maybe these guys are going to go. That's the end of this first segment.
I thought Yamamoto was pitching tonight.
Yamamoto is on Sunday against Andrew Abbott.
Ooh, just in time for the sweep.
Take the under.
Just in time for the sweep. That's it on ESPN 1410. We're taking a break. We're going to be right back. And when we come back, more positivity regarding this Reds team. We'll be right back with you.
And we are back on 1410 Wing AM. Off the bench presented by United Dairy Farmers. Full cast of characters. Reed Mouse, Elliot Rearing, Casey McAllister, Jimmy Collins, Jacob Tissett. The 5 that you'll see throughout this summer. And for a long time until Jimmy has to go back to his humble abode in South Bend, Indiana.
Bend.
But yeah.
Glorious this time of year, South Bend.
Oh, yeah.
Every time we hear.
When Notre Dame's not in session, that's when it's at its best. There's a lot to do there.
Well, they talk about, like, you know how different places talk about, like, the trees blooming and stuff like that? When the trees bloom in South Bend, they bloom bicycles.
Yes.
They bloom mechanical bicycles.
The prettier
pedals and gears
Yes.
and the whole nine.
Yes. The little bells. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
ding, 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 ding.
I didn't finish my headline, so I'm going to finish that.
Let's get back through the headlines.
Around the league. Baseball, the White Sox, they found a new way to lose yesterday after an interference call and then an infield fly call.
That
Tough
was
way to end
Did
that.
you see that?
That was incredible.
Yeah.
That is the worst. That is legitimately the worst. We're not going to show it because we don't want to get copyrighted, but it is legitimately the worst baseball call I have ever seen. Ever seen.
Did you hear their announcer?
Yeah,
he was like on the
he was
verge of
flabbergasted.
tears.
He was flabbergasted, and you should be. Like
Oh,
if you
yeah.
rewatch it happening,
It was
doesn't
incredible.
make any sense. Have you guys have seen the clip? So
I
don't
have
wanna
not.
go-
I did not see the clip.
Okay, so we can't show it on air, but we will show it after the show. Maybe we'll show it on Box Lunch for everyone. But it is absolutely ridiculous. It's the worst call I've ever seen. Go look up how the White Sox game ended yesterday.
And their announcer was like, no, this game cannot
It
end
looked-
like this. No, no.
It legitimately sounded like a WWE match. Like, oh no, he's got the bell, he's got
Yeah.
the chair. Like,
So I got to go look at that. Blue Jays, they stomp on the Tigers 9-1.
Deceptive.
What'd you say?
It was a deceptive.
What's deceptive about an 8-run loss?
Double slam range, though. If you stick within double slam range, you
Yeah.
got yourself a chance.
It was tied after.
7 bloops, 2 bombs. It
was
Here we
yes.
go.
It was tied. It was tied after the 6th.
Oh, hang the banner,
Good
I
thing they
guess.
play now.
Tied after the 6th in game 43 of the season.
Yeah,
Lose
it's-
by 8.
It hasn't been good.
No.
I didn't watch
the
last night though.
What's up?
I didn't watch.
No, good for you.
I thought they'd win if I didn't watch.
That's good for your mental
I
health.
was right.
Well,
Instead, you watch the Reds.
yeah. The Athletics, they beat the Rockies 10-9 in a thriller. The Rockies scored 4 in the top of the 11th, but in the bottom of the 11th, the Athletics scored 5. So 9 combined runs in the 11th inning there. Shout out to Manfred, extra inning rule. Braves, they beat the Cubs 3-0. They blanked the Cubs 3-0. Reed.
the Cubs aren't hitting well. They're not hitting well. The Braves have shut out like 9 teams. Have already had 9 shutouts this year.
So you're saying they're good.
Braves are good. Cubs hitting's not good. So
I can't wait for the Reds to play the Braves. I think that'll be really fun for us all. Phillies, they sweep the Rangers, winning 5-2 yesterday. Yankees shut out the Mariners 5-0, and the Giants defeated Reed's Pirates 7-6. Sad day for the Pirates. Sad day for all the Pirates fandom like you. Moving on though. NBA news. The Celtics, they dominated the Pacers last night. I watched the third and fourth quarter, and it's just like, it's not competitive.
Yeah.
The Celtics are so much better that it's scary. The story of the game, however, is Tyrese Halliburton. Did I say that right? Who did I said Tyrese. I was thinking of Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Halliburton, yeah.
But you took a weird jump there in the middle of Halliburton.
Yeah, I was. Listen, I don't know what I was thinking.
Reflections.
I got Tyrese Maxey in my head. Halliburton had to leave the game due to a hamstring injury. So I don't know if he'll be back.
Same hamstring he missed 15 games for in January, so certainly not a good sign for the Pacers.
It makes him injury prone. It's the same injury, right, Casey?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
That's a correct definition there.
Jaylen Brown, he dropped 40 points. Tatum and Derek White each added 23 points of their own. Siakam, he scored 28, leading the way for the Pacers. But again, not enough. They lose by 16 points. Tonight, the Mavericks and T-Wolves are back at it. 8:30 p.m. tip in Minnesota, where they hope to even up the series at 1 apiece. I will not be watching, but to each their own. Because the Reds. I have to watch the Reds lose. NHL news. The Oilers. They survive. Connor McDavid's game winner 30 seconds into the second overtime. How about that, Readeroo? They beat our Dallas Stars 3-2 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals.
So all week long, I said, I'm not scared of Connor McDavid, and neither should you.
Yeah.
Hindsight being what it is, 50-50, of course, I probably should have been a little scared of Connor McDavid. Probably should. Hey, they go down 2-0. They bring it back to 2-2. Is what it is. Is what it is. But not good. Not good. I'm not scared of Connor McDavid anymore. He can't have multiple game winners.
Right. The Oilers are a bad hockey team. I don't really understand how they're this. Well, it's just Connor McDavid is how they're this far.
And Draisaitl.
And Draisaitl. But they are a bad hockey team. So I would be shocked if the Stars don't win this.
I haven't
series.
liked what I've seen from Draisaitl this year. In college football news, NCAA power conferences agree to settlement which allows schools to pay players. So how about that? A pretty historic day in the college athletics universe, as they say.
We were coming to this, and we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about that later. But this was
that was the final.
This was coming. This was coming. This was coming for a long time.
Final headline.
Before we get into Reds talk, we do have to do a segment on the show, or at least a bit of the show. We have to do an update on the 12-game win streak, how it's looking right now, and let's check in.
If you get a 12-game streak, I'm gonna be very upset.
A 12L?
Yeah.
A 12L streak?
If you get your 12-game streak of L's, I'm gonna be very upset.
Could you imagine once we get to like 8, the electricity we're gonna feel in this room? 8. That's 8 in a row. That was the point of that graphic, and we could get that.
Right. We're about a cool J away now. There you go. All right. Reds. We watched it together. We talked about little tidbits of it. So the question I'll pose, we've said, is the season dead? Is the season dead? And you jokingly say yes, but all we all know, and we do it tongue-in-cheek to say that it's one win streak away from kind of getting expectations back high again. All it takes is one good month, and you're kind of right back in the mix of things. It looks like the National League is going to have one team right around 82 wins or something like that getting into the postseason. So the question I'll pose are, not is the Reds season dead, because it's hard to say that 50 games in, but are the Reds becoming irrelevant? Like, no, you said you're numb to it. You're numb to the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
Is it just becoming to a point where you're not even like, oh, the Reds play at 6:40. I have something to look forward to today. Is it now just, I'll get the push notification sent to my phone and I'm just going to go about my daily life?
We're close to that. I'm not completely out on the season just because I love baseball. It's my favorite sport. This is my favorite team. I'm always going to be emotionally invested, despite how truly, and I mean truly, terrible they are. Saying that, we're getting closer and closer to just box score watching. And I don't mean to do the Casey Rue here, but if the Reds continue to play like this, and it's not even the losses. They don't look good. It's how they're losing. They look uncompetitive at the plate. I've said it, but they haven't scored more than 4 runs in their last 6 games. I don't know how many times they've scored more than 4 runs in the past month. Because it feels like it's been not many. The starting pitching has been incredible. I'd argue the bullpen has also been incredible for the most part. So I sit and watch these games, and it's like I got half the team showing up, but let's be clear, people watch baseball, people like sports for offense. I hate to say that, but that's how it is in the NFL. It's how it is in every single sport. You want runs, you want goals, you want points.
Here's my question for you.
Sure.
Like, you have, like, Ellie De La Cruz, who you want to watch every night. How long would it actually take? Like, how many losses?
To stop watching completely?
To completely stop. Because I feel
20 games
it's
under
close.
20
I was gonna say it's getting close.
20 games under 500, the season's over.
I'm going to keep going to the ballpark just because I love going to games. And
Yeah.
Going to GABP is my favorite thing.
30% of that is the baseball game. Like, I just love going and sitting there, whatever, watching the game. So I'm going to keep doing that. But games on TV, it really is already starting to feel like a task. It's damn, the Reds play tonight. Like I have to sit here for 2
Yeah.
hours and be upset.
Last year, you guys would get excited, and rightfully so. You get excited. Hey, what's the pitching matchup today? What time do they play? Let's get excited. Let's sit down. It's appointment television. They were exciting. They were fun. You were getting excited. Now it's oh wait, they play? Like they're playing today? Who's going? Like it is getting to that point.
Yeah. I'll say this: 10 games under 500. I'm done watching them on TV on the weekends. I will not watch on Saturday or Sunday. I have better things to do with my time.
This Sunday, no hitter watch already. Yamamoto on the bump.
Yeah,
So
that should be good.
fun.
Tune in for the series sweep by the Dodgers. But yeah, listen. I'm going to watch the games like Jacob said. If I go to the ballpark, I think going down with your friends, going down with your buddies, having a couple of hot dogs, drinking a couple beers.
Nothing's better.
There's legitimately not a better feeling that I have. I know Reed is a baseball guy. Jacob is a baseball guy. I know Jimmy's a baseball guy. Getting down there, that's the best feeling in the world during the summer.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd still continue. My goal was to go to like 30 games this year. That's gone and void. I'm not doing that, respectfully. And the season isn't mathematically over, but if the longer we go saying it's not over, it just takes a little bit. You can't lose every game except for 4 in the month of May, and then say, yeah, we can turn it around. You can't turn around something that's already sunk. And the Titanic is in the water already. It's split in half. Jack just fell off the little piece of driftwood. I don't know what Rose is still on there, hanging on for dear life. And the Reds, the Titanic, bottom of the ocean's already hit the ocean floor. Because how are you going to get out of it? Who's coming to save us? And you mentioned it yesterday. The cavalry's not coming. No, the cavalry's not coming. And the worst part is we're so decimated as a roster offensively that you can't turn around the offense at all. Like the guys on this team aren't good enough. Jonathan India, hand up. I was wrong about Jonathan India. I thought Jonathan India was a good player. I thought he was a leader. I bought into all of it. You're slugging 280. You don't swing anymore. You play terrible defense. Why are you a Major League Baseball player? Because honestly, it's not competitive. You've lost all trade value. There is no more trade value for Jonathan India. None.
He's more valuable now on the Reds than somewhere else. Right?
A wide margin.
Right, it's just you got to keep him now because there's nowhere to go. Shout out to Jonathan. Like we talk about perception and stuff like that. Him winning that Rookie of the Year will make sure that he's a Major League Baseball player for a decade. Like he will get full pension. Like he will get there regardless of how bad he plays. Chris Coughlin, very similar player. Go look at his Rookie of the Year stats. I think it was 2009 in the National League for the Marlins.
Yeah.
He played for a decade. Wasn't a great player, wasn't even a starter after a little while, but that's kind of the trajectory that Jonathan India. But there's no trade. He's more valuable now on the team because you can't trade him for anything.
No, I said it tongue in cheek during the stream yesterday, and obviously the Rookie of the Year plays probably a bigger part in it. But how much does his visual appearance play in it? If he didn't have the long hair and the beard and the shooting sleeve and the chains,
no, he looks like a ball player. He looks like a gamer.
He looks cool. You're excited, and
right.
he was here as a guy who looked cool and was exciting to watch when there wasn't many of those guys on the Reds. So I think a lot of people are holding on to
if
that.
he looks like Eric Sogard, he wouldn't get the
Right.
same amount of love. He's got the red
Right.
specs, and he's like just doesn't look good.
And in today's society, nothing gets more views, clicks, engagement than nostalgia. And I know it's only been, 3 years? But people are nostalgic over Jonathan India because of what Jacob just said. We associate good memories with Jonathan India. He was a lone star in a garbage can is essentially what he was.
Red Sparrow in the night.
The Red Sparrow, one of the worst nicknames of all time. But as the season continues, it's just like I'm looking at Jonathan India. We're getting nothing from him playing. Nothing. There's no aspect.
He's got to play.
No, him and Nick Martini, both of them offer nothing. At least Nick Martini will hit a home run once every 25 games. That's the only positive there. So I was wrong about Jonathan India. I'll openly say that right now. He is not the guy I thought he was, and at this point, I don't think he can be. I'm going to have something more to say on it when we come back from break here on ESPN 1410, the best sports coverage in the Miami Valley. We'll be right back.
And we are back on 1410 Wing AM. We got a $5 super chat from Mr. Mose. Since April 27th, the Reds have scored more than 5 runs just 3 times.
Oh, Mo, that's terrible.
That's not good. That's not good. Here's the thing. So before we went to break, we were talking about Jonathan India. We talked about his slugging percentage. You brought up the Bronson Arroyo, 279. That's no bueno. That's no bueno. In 154 at-bats, 181 plate appearances this year, Jonathan India has just 6 extra base hits. His rookie season, when of course he won Rookie of the Year, he had, quick math here, 57 extra base hits. 57 of them. He has just 6. 3 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. That's not gonna cut it.
And here's the thing. People talk about regression. We assumed that there would be some regression with Spencer Steer, maybe a little bit with CES. Noelvi Marte, what's he going to do? Coming into this season, nobody could have predicted the way this team is performing right now. And again, 2 weeks ago, this was a slump. I considered this a slump. I think most of the fan base considered it a slump. When you go months playing like this, it's no longer a slump. That's who you are, unfortunately. Will Benson, is he going to find a way out of this hole? He's batting 188 with a 286 OBP.
He had a swing yesterday that was a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He was on time, and it was over middle, and he just swung right through it. And that only happens when you are just lost. When you're swinging at not an overpowering fastball that is in the zone, you're on time, and you're coming up empty, that's when you just stare at the bat, and you legitimately trying to see if there's a hole in it. I know that's a cliche thing. Like, is there a hole in your bat? Like, sometimes you go up there hitting, and you swing and miss, and you're like, how in the hell did I not just hit that? Did I not hit that ball? Not even a foul tip. He swung through it. Just missed it.
Yeah. I again, and this is causing guys like Elly De La Cruz, and I know some people pick on Elly De La Cruz for swinging at the breaking ball, the curveball. He doesn't come up in the big moment. When you are the only player that's worth a damn and you're trying to get on base every single time because you know nobody else is going to, I think that affects your play a little bit. I could be wrong on that, but he swung at a 3-1 pitch that was so disgusting yesterday. That ball, I'm pretty sure, bounced in front of him. And I think he's doing it because he knows it's the only way this offense is going to score is if he gets to first, so he can then steal second and third.
And then pray someone else gets a hit, which usually doesn't
No,
happen.
not
Or
even
just
get a
puts the
hit.
ball in
And that's
play.
the craziest part.
Ball,
Not
a
even get a
sac
hit.
fly.
They're praying for contact.
Yeah.
They're praying for contact with the baseball. I don't know how many times I've had to see with one out guy in running or man in running or scoring position, and we have a guy that just strikes out, non-existent, 3-pitch, 4-pitch strikeout. Boom! Now there's 2 out, sac fly gone, suicide squeeze. I know nobody uses that anymore. Gone. Any possibility of manufacturing a run other than a hit, gone. So that's where the Reds are at right now, and that's about as low as you can go. You can't play worse than the Cincinnati Reds are playing right now. It can't happen.
I think
you can look at the Whites.
The pitching can get worse, and this can
Yeah,
get
they can get
really,
worse, yeah.
really bad.
You think it can get worse than
We
this,
have the
though?
4th best pitching staff in the league right now. If that gets to 10, we're going to start losing games by 5 runs every night.
We made the joke before the first game of the series. What's your prediction tonight? And Jacob, almost on the money, said 2-1 Reds win. Because in his mind, that was the only way in which the Cincinnati Reds were going to win a game, 2-1. They won 2-0.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the only way that they can win.
I don't mean I really don't try to be pessimistic. I don't try to be this.
How can you be optimistic?
But it's that. That's
what
my
is
point.
there to
What am I?
find? Yeah.
Stuart Fairchild's a top 5 player on the offense, and I'm supposed to sit here and smile about that. I love Stu. This is not a knock on Stuart Fairchild. But let's be very clear, that's not an everyday Major League Baseball player. He can slug lefties and he can play defense. Those are 2 valuable traits that Jonathan India can't sniff. Jonathan India can't sniff good defense, and he can't hit anybody, much less a left-handed pitcher. Stuart Fairchild, top 5 in the offense. Jeimer Candelario, and then he had a triple yesterday. They have to, and that's the craziest part too. They have to orchestrate these nonsensical Little League baseball plays that my coach would run in 3rd grade to score runs because they know no one else is getting a hit. Like, people are going to get mad at David Bell. Whatever. I'm over that. Get mad at David Bell. The only way they can score a run is if the guy on third stands there while the guy on first fakes stealing second, stands in the middle, and hopefully the other team falls for it so the guy on third can then score. You know how sad that is? You know how sad of an existence that is to watch your team go through? And again, I'm aware. They've dealt with injuries. Bad luck has dismantled this team. You can't discredit the injuries. You cannot. Jake Fraley unavailable again yesterday because he was drilled in the fingers.
Did pinch run.
He pinch ran.
He did pinch run. I don't know how many of these guys I have to sit here and go and watch them go through every injury under the sun as we fight through this miserable season. But there's no light at the end of this tunnel. Not this year. I think the team, I think the core, I still believe in it. I think most fans do still. But as for the 2024 season, where is the light? What am I looking for? TJ Friedel to come back? He looked bad when he came up. He did. He looked bad offensively. I know that's such a small sample size because he got hurt immediately. But who am I looking for? Matt McClain? You think they're bringing Matt McClain back?
Why would you even consider putting
25 games under 5? You're not bringing Matt McClain back.
Right. If he's banged up at all, you cannot play him. Yesterday, Alex Wallace tweeted us and he said the season, because we're talking about is the season. It was the 8-second clip where you said the season's over. Alec Wallace said the playoffs are over, the season's not over. And at the time, and I was like, what the heck are you talking about? If you can't get the playoffs, what's the point of the season? And I'm starting to realize that, yeah, maybe that's not the case. Can the Reds try to figure out a way to figure out what they have, right? Right? Can they solve, like, is Will Benson really this bad as he's playing right now? Or is he somewhere in between what we saw last year and what we're seeing right now? What else do they have? Where can they solve pieces? Because that's the only trajectory that the Reds have at this current moment is figuring out what the next course of action is in the offseason.
Yeah, and for that answer, I don't know. I don't think they know, and that's a scary part. I don't think they know what they have yet, and I think Trace alluded to that earlier on this season. And I think you did too, on a roster filled with question marks. I don't know, I forget it now, but it's my favorite.
I said about Candelario, said on a roster full of question marks, Candelario is a period. He's starting to get that way.
He is starting to get that way.
The Reds, out of 30 teams, you know where they rank in terms of batting average. Batting average isn't a great stat.
I imagine dead last.
30th. You know where they sit in terms of on base percentage.
30th.
29th.
28th. You know where they sit in terms of slugging percentage.
28th.
27th. Only teams worse are the Marlins, White Sox, and Nationals.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds have established themselves as the 4th worst team in Major League Baseball. And you say what works, what doesn't work, what's the plan going forward? Here's a plan I've got, and this is where all the stuff, all the credit I've veered towards David Bell. I've excused some of his nonsense because I don't think this is his fault. I don't think anybody in their right mind can sit here and blame David Bell for literally half the roster getting injured. Tyler Stevenson is the second best hitter on this team. You can argue he's the best hitter on the team right now.
Absolutely.
Right now, yeah.
Nowhere to be found? Nowhere? There's not one time during that game we can pinch hit Tyler Stevenson? I know what Reed says. They need an off day.
Correct.
He can't come in for one at-bat in the ninth?
I don't know why you can't hit him.
Tyler Stevenson's also 19th in plate appearances amongst catchers. We don't have the other pieces for him to be that low. I understand they need days off and stuff, but he needs to be top 10.
Well,
just strictly because of the other options the Reds have right now.
He needs a full day off every once in a while. But when you're trying to win a series, he needs to at least be the designated hitter. He needs to be in that. He needs to be in that lineup because it's not like you're going to be foregoing some other brilliant piece of hitting there at the designated hitter spot.
This is like Luke Maley. I don't mean to knock Luke Maley, friend of the show, very good human being. He's hitting 160. He doesn't give you much at the plate. I don't understand continuing to bat with him late in the game. I don't get it. If you want to say through the first 8 innings, sure, he can catch, yeah. But we're trying to win any game we can. We're not trying to win series anymore. We're trying to win games, just individual games, trying not to get swept. And last night, he comes out and he says, you know what, I couldn't find the right scenario. I couldn't find the right scenario for Tyler Stevenson. Didn't come up last night. Jacob said it. There are 4 guys that started. 4 guys that started yesterday, hitting below 200. And I'd argue some of them aren't hitting close to 200. 4. None of those at-bats were the time to put in Tyler Stevenson to pinch hit? None of them? Really? And again, I'm not going to sit here and yell at Mike Ford either. Mike Ford is what he is. He was never going to be a savior. I commend the Reds for bringing him up, for at least trying. The project has failed. Mike Ford is not very good. He is somebody who, again, not in shape, but Mike Ford doesn't look in shape to play baseball. So I don't know what I'm supposed to get with Mike Ford. Saying all that, you have the opportunity to pinch hit your best hitter on the roster. You have that opportunity. Don't say you don't. Don't say you're going to wait for somebody to get on base, David Bell, because that's not going to happen. Nobody's getting on base. What did Reed say? They're 28th in the league in on-base percentage? And we're going to wait for one more batter. We're going to wait for one more guy to step up to the plate and get on. Then Tyler will come in, and he'll deliver. That's not how this works. You need somebody to do something immediately. And that's just not happening, unfortunately. And again, if you're a Reds fan and you're watching this, and I'm very sorry if you have an optimistic lens regarding your team and you try to avoid the negative sports talk.
Share it with us.
But
I would love to be
correct.
optimistic. I don't know where to go at this point.
In the chat, if we're being toxic today, if we're being negative, too negative and stuff like that, if you have optimistic views that you want to share, please do. Please do. Because we're trying to find the light. Trying to find the light going forward.
And again, I don't know what they're talking about. Are they saying pinch hit Hunter Green? What are they saying in there?
No, they're saying if you would have pinched hit Stevenson for Ford, you lose the DH.
No, they're saying if you have a catcher, so your catcher Luke Maley gets hurt and Tyler Stevenson DHs to start the game, he's then got to go into the game.
Right.
You
And then
forfeit the
pitcher's
designated
bat,
hitter,
yeah.
then the pitcher's bat. But you have a
you're also-
26-man roster.
You're also banking on one guy to get hurt, like one
Right.
specific guy.
Right.
To get hurt.
I get it, but
He's your best hitter. Like I don't
Yeah,
know what.
and also like they're 10 games below 500. Do you think we have some urgency or no? And by the way, a pitcher hitting is, I mean, can they get worse?
Hunter Green was
Oh.
a two-way guy.
What'd you say about Bronson Arroyo?
Yeah, what was Bronson?
295 slug.
That's right. Bring
Better
up
than India.
Bronson.
Can a pitcher really get worse than what we're seeing? I mean, Luke Maley's hitting 160. I know his role is to catch, and that's an important job. Don't get me wrong. Jonathan India, you can't tell me right now, if I bring up any pitcher, they can not do what Jonathan India does, and that's just stand at the plate with his bat on his shoulder and pray to God that somebody walks him.
Evan makes a great point that it is somewhat nonsense, people suggesting that one right-handed outfielder or a different guy to plug in at first base would fix this team. This team's 5 to 6 pieces away from being
Correct.
competitive this year.
And that's what we're saying. There's no light.
Right.
There's no Calvary. There's no Nick Crawl. Go crawl another team real quick and bring somebody in here and
It'd have
save
to be an
the season.
all-time crawling.
It would
have to be an all-time.
By the way,
crawl.
that was my favorite thing in your video. Is you said, when was the last, you asked those women selling those Alani News, you said, when was the last time you got crawled? And she's like, what does that entail?
I'm not, and this is where we talk about getting numb to these things. Like, I'm not really mad anymore. You can't blame David Bell. You can't blame Nick Kroll for this. You can't. Nick Kroll, you want Nick Kroll to go trade for an entire roster?
The whole team.
Hey, we'll Reds for the Marlins. You lose that trade.
You lose more.
Yeah, it's just. I'm to the point where I'm just going to try to fight through this season as best as I can with the guys that we have available to us. Noelvi Marte, Juice Boy. I hope Juice Boy comes up and I hope he's gives us a little bit of a light. That's what I want.
Gives you some juice.
Gives us some juice.
20 blasts.
Because at this point we literally don't have. I mean, Jacob said 5 to 6 guys. I'd argue maybe 7. I mean 7. Spencer Steer's done nothing. Candelario, I know he's been better. But still, at the end of the day, did anybody here trust Candelario to deliver a massive hit for us? I don't. I've got one more Reds thing coming up. I want to go to break real quick.
Okay, then we'll go to break. When we come back, Elliot's got one more take, and I've got a take about how Chatterbox Sports, it's been in the chat a few times, how Chatterbox Sports has affected this Red season. So we'll be back. That and more on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers on 1410 Wing AM. We are back with Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farms. Congratulations, Casey. It's been a long time.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations. You said you have one more take that you have about the Cincinnati Reds. We're trying. This is what Trump does, right?
Yeah.
We're trying here. This is his hand motions. We're trying to find something. Elliot, can you find something?
Find some light?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one. Because people were mad about this. I've been seeing they've been too risky on the base path. I want them to double their input in stolen base attempts. Anytime anybody gets on first, just run. Just run as fast as you can to second base. More times than not, you're probably going to be out. But that is the only way this Reds team is going to score anything.
Mike
if
Ford,
you can
too.
steal 2 base, Mike Ford, steal a base. We'll try it. We'll try it. Why not? Why not? Can it get worse? Why not?
Probably not.
Can you get worse than four wins in a month of baseball? Can you get worse than that?
Yeah,
Not really. You can win
You
0.
went 3.
3. Yeah.
You went 3-22 month to start the year in 2022. So
Is that right?
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
White Sox did it this
Only
year.
the only worst 25-game stretch in the history of the Reds.
But they, but did you see what they did in Atlanta? Did you see what the boys did in Atlanta?
I've never been higher on a Reds team.
All I
Serious, man.
all I want is the aggressiveness to continue. If they're going to be legitimately terrible, and when I say terrible, I think some people think I'm exaggerating. They are horrible. This team is legitimately garbage. And I say that with a lot of love and a lot of respect. They can't play.
We're close to the worst team in baseball.
They
That's an
can't play
8-second
defense.
That's an 8-second clip right there.
Yeah.
They cannot play defense. They cannot hit. They can pitch.
We're cutting that part out, though.
Yeah, that's seriously. But as the season continues, continue with the aggressiveness. Do the nonsensical play where the guy at first stops halfway between first and second so the guy at third can get home. Continue that. Because if I'm going to lose out the rest of this season, I might as well have something to look at while I'm doing it. Because I can't take these at-bats where you just stand there like Jonathan India and just keep the bat on your shoulder and just wait. Wait for 4 balls. It's uncompetitive baseball. I don't ask for a lot. I really don't. I don't think I do. When you see no playoff advancements in your life, I can't be here like, oh, I want a World Series. No. I want competitive play. That's all I want.
And we can watch the team in September.
Correct. And we
Right,
can
be excited.
That's it.
And we
Fall
can
baseball. That's all you're asking for. Like last year.
correct,
I
like
would
last
take
year.
last year.
100%. Knowing the result I take last year.
Yes.
Missed the playoffs.
12-game win streak.
You can sit here and say close games, close
Not
games,
really
close
card
games. Because that's what a lot of people are saying. It's, oh, you've lost so many close ones. And they have. It's when you're 10 games under 500 and your differential is only 11, that's pretty good, I guess. Hang the banner.
Good teams win.
But good teams win.
Great teams covered.
Okay. The
+1.
the close game excuse, I'm out on it. I refuse to believe only scoring 4 runs consistently is competitive baseball. I refuse to believe that. So continue with the aggressiveness. Give me something to watch if we're going to lose
Get
everything.
Ellie to 100. That's it. That needs to be
That's-
on the side of Great American Ballpark for the rest of the year. Get Ellie to 100 stolen bases. That's it.
He's got his own thing in DraftKings right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just says Ellie 100, and he's got his own little tab. You can bet it's like 5-1. 5-1 on him to get to 100.
I have him 5-1 to lead the league in steals this year
Well, that's great.
from preseason.
That's fantastic.
I'm going to ask Jacob this because Evan asked a decent question. Are you still optimistic about the direction this franchise is going in?
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes too
Get
for
another
now.
year.
I'm going to what?
I think the last 81 games of this season is a big thing for me because we're going to be out of the playoffs. Marte's going to be back. Ideally, Friedel's back. CES is back. Fraley's back.
What does this team look
You're
like?
probably not playing Matt McClain. You're probably out of the playoff hunt, out of the divisional hunt. But they need to show some kind of spark with the roster, with the pieces that you expect to play. Like if Steer is hitting 220 in August, then maybe I have a different answer. But I still have faith that some of these guys that we expected to be everyday players are still everyday players.
Do you think Arroyo would have been up this season?
Healthy, yes.
I think so too. I think he would have come up at some point. And that's the other crazy part. Not only is our regular roster getting injured, we have AAA players that we assume are going to join the club at some point. They get injured. And it's just nonstop bad luck misery that this franchise suffers. It doesn't end. It legitimately doesn't end.
I think Arroyo might have already been up.
Yeah, I think so
like, I
too.
think
Oh,
he
he
already-
would have had. Again,
Espinal trade wouldn't have happened. He would have just played it.
I'm gonna say this with a lot of love and a lot of respect. People are gonna think I'm punching down. Bubba Thompson was sent down to AA. He skipped one. They just sent him straight down to AA. We had a AA player on the
He
roster.
got DFA'd, right?
And he got
Yeah, he
DFA'd.
did get
Yes,
DFA'd.
Good news for him. I don't think anybody's picking that up. Could be wrong.
He got a World Series last year, though. You got a
Did he?
ring.
Was he a Ranger?
He was a Ranger
was,
last
yeah.
year. Here's the thing. So we keep talking about can the Reds find light? You want the quote unquote solace? Can it get worse?
Again, yes.
You think it can? You think you
Yes.
can feel worse
Yeah.
than you do
Yeah.
right now?
It cannot be 4-4 for 7 innings. It could be 7-4.
Wait, does that
Like,
change how you feel about
for,
the team?
For maybe 60 minutes of the day, yes. And I'll
Okay.
take that.
I'm with Reed on that. It doesn't change anything to me. Getting blown out 10-0.
Getting blown out is better.
Way better.
Is
way
better because you know what? Just like I told Jimmy when he's watching the 8-2 Tigers game the other day, I said, "What the heck are you still watching that for?"
Yeah.
And I flip on the Cubs game. It's 7-0. Click it right off. I ain't watching that.
Knowing the result of a game in the third inning is way better than knowing the result of the game with still just a little bit of hope in the back of your mind. Maybe they are going to deliver the big hit in extra innings. Maybe. How many times this
They
season
give
are
us
we?
a base runner.
How many times are we not going to advance the magic runner in extra innings?
Feels like we haven't in months.
Do you know what? It's like people are against the bunt. My former coworkers over on the radio, some of them are against the bunt. If you bunt at this point, what can it hurt? Nobody else is doing anything. And I don't mean to preach and cry up here about this team, but my God, it's just nothing. They don't move base runners. They don't get big hits. They don't get timely hits. Some of them can walk only because they pray. They get down on their knees before every at bat and they say, "Please, Lord, don't make me swing because I'm not gonna." That's the only way this team gets on base is walks. And again, I don't mean to, some walks are skillfully based. You can have good at bats, but a lot of walks are because the pitcher doesn't have it. How many
John-
walks this season has Alexis Diaz given out that just has been, he didn't have it? Probably a lot.
John suggests that the team's losing some games because they don't want it bad enough. I simply don't think there's MLB players on the roster. I don't think
Don't
it's
want it bad enough.
any issue with desire or heart of the team. It's Mike Ford's a AAA player. Jacob Hurtubise is a AAA player, AA player. Like, I don't.
Stuart Fairchild is a AAA player.
Right. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the turning on the clubhouse. I understand that they're not winning games and it doesn't look pretty, but to attack their desire, I don't know. I mean, Jake Fraley gets hit in the wrist and seems madder than anybody to come out of the game. I mean, I think these guys want to turn it around just as bad as we want them to turn it around.
I have no questions in the Reds' motivations. They want to win games. No team wants to be the laughing stock of their league.
Let's not question their professionalism.
But I'm going to be
Right.
very clear. If you put Reed, Mouse, Trace Fowler, Jacob Tissett, myself, Jimmy, and Casey on the Reds roster right now,
That's a win.
we're going to have the same motivations as them, and you're probably going to get the same results. A loss. So it's not, and again, I don't mean to pick on every single player, but we got a lot of players here that probably shouldn't be on a major league roster at this point.
Yeah.
So the motivation thing is nothing, and that's where people are like, David Bell doesn't spark up Jacob Hurtubise. Come on, David. Why don't you coach up Jacob Hurtubise? Come on, David. Can't you teach our left fielder how to catch a routine fly ball? No. That's not his job. His job is to be a light for a team that is somewhat serviceable. People bring up the Joe Giardi thing. They had 7 All-Stars on that roster. 7. And we're going to say that's the same thing. They needed the spark. It worked for them because they had a roster that was good. You can't compare this team. Reed said, what are they hitting? 30th? They're 30th in batting average?
Yeah, and then they're like 28th in OPS.
That's because they don't want to win? No, I don't think so. It's a skill issue, not a desire
Yeah, it's just
issue.
this team. I mean, we could keep saying it. This team's just not who they thought. Like, David Bell doesn't have the roster that he thought that he was going to get. And you saw the frustrations game 1 of this series. Another guy gets hurt, and it's clearly waning on them. Clearly waning on him. And we've been talking about it for a week and a half now, 2 weeks. Can this team turn it around? Can they turn it around? Oh, is the season done? Is the season done? Are they relevant? What's next for this Cincinnati Reds team? And to be honest, it's almost not worth putting expectations on whatever you think's going to happen. It's almost just worth just let it happen. If something positive happens, we rock and roll from there. If it keeps going the way that it's going, then you just hope that positive things do happen later on.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And I guess this is really for Jacob, and if I'd like you to hear your opinion anyway. If the Cubs were this bad, and I know they're not, at this point, what would bring you back in? What would bring you back in?
I don't want to say it.
You can't say it.
I
I'm
think
not
a
gonna say
2-week.
it.
I think a 2-week win streak.
If you win every game for like 10 to 12 days, I mean, 500 baseball. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that's the line. If we get to 3-4 games below 500, some miracle, then yeah, I'm back in. Whoopee. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Like this, I have not watched a baseball team in probably over a month now that I think can win 4 games in a row. We're not going to sweep anybody, much less win a next series after that. We've lost 8 series in a row. We haven't won back-to-back games since the end of April. We've scored over 3 runs 5 times. Like, what are we talking about? Everyone should be out. And obviously it's just a level, whatever level your fandom is, how much you're going to continue watching. And I'm going to keep going for probably a while longer here. But, yeah, it's not exciting. And I think it takes something that's not going to happen to get us back in.
For me, it would only be, and it's not. I'm not even looking at wins anymore. If Spencer Steer, Ellie, Candelario, Will Benson, if they can somewhat play better, like as a unit offensively, I just ask for runs. If they can give me competitive baseball,
They can make the games fun to watch again.
Yeah.
They're not a whole lot of fun to watch.
That's what it would take me to get back into it. It's not even wins anymore. It's just I want competitive baseball, and it's not competitive right now.
It's I mean, besides that 2-week stretch last year, this team was 15 games or what would be 11 games under 500 for the rest of the year. But you enjoyed watching them because the games were fun. They were exciting. And you had Ricky Karcher not throwing a single strike and winning the game. Like, it's just not even – it truly isn't fun. Greg Salen, I think, brought in a really good point in the chat. He was talking about how it's clearly waning on David Bell, too. Obviously, we saw the explosion in Game 1 of this series. Yesterday, the whole Luke Maile thing, right, where he swung and missed. They said it was a foul tip. Ended up working out for the Reds. Ended up not having an effect on the game. But that was a classic situation where David Bell's getting thrown out.
Yeah.
Right? He's going out there fired up, and he had nothing to give.
No.
He couldn't even get into the umpire. He really, that seemed like a perfect opportunity for David Bell to do David Bell. You know, he's three ejections away from the Reds' record. It seemed like he was going to be 2 away, and then he just, nothing. Just wanders on back to the dugout.
And I love the David Bell hate because it's like he knows he's first up on the blame board. So, like, people are like, David Bell doesn't bring enough fire, not enough passion. And, again, I disagree with his decision not to put in Stevenson. I'm going to get on him for that. I'm not going to be hypocritical, try not to be. But David Bell's motivations, he doesn't want to win. David Bell knows his head is first, and every fan is calling for him. He knows that the Castellinis have an easy scapegoat when they win 71 games this year. Oh, who are we going to blame? Not the team. We're going to blame the manager.
We've said it 10 times. What do you want David Bell to do?
Right.
What do you want him to do? Like,
can't
sure,
do
he can go get thrown out of the game, and then what? Luke Maile batting 120 is going to get a hit after that? That spark's going to get him to maybe bat 200?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what the people that want Bell's head want him to do.
We're going to go to break.
Yep,
We're going to
we'll
be
come
done
back.
with the Reds for today. If you have a positive outlook on this team still, I commend you for it, and I wish you well on your journey this season watching them. But as for us in this room, clearly we've seen enough. ESPN 1410 Wing AM, the best sports coverage in the Miami Valley. Shout out to Dayton. We will be right back.
What's the series at?
It is 10-5.
10-5. So a little bit of a comeback. Had a couple wins today. We are going to do ad breaks. The only housekeeping things that we have today is we are going to do box lunch immediately following this show. After we get off the radio to conclude today's show, we are going to do chat power rankings. We were going to let Jimmy do it, but we decided we're going to let him get another week under his belt before he decides our holy power rankings of the chat power rankings. We know you guys enjoy that so much. So I'm going to do it this week, and then it'll be Jimmy, and we'll just continue to do that from here on out. Obviously, Chatterbox Reds is going to be tonight after the games. A few of us are going to the Reds game tonight, so if follow us on Twitter, something like that, send me a message. I'll say hi.
City Connect Friday.
City Connect Friday, fireworks. Wait till you see these fireworks, Jimmy.
Oh, I can't wait.
They're absolutely,
Amazing.
they're unbelievable.
Yeah, they don't win games, but
I heard
You'll be
that they
damned
did them
if-
before the game because of a rain delay one
Yeah.
time. That's awesome.
Culture.
Absolutely. All right, we've got
a good spirit here.
advertisements. We gotta pay the bills.
That's right. We
Casey
got some bills to pay here. Let's start with Encore Technologies. They provide IT solutions for a technology-centered world with a suite of services, mobile computing to desktop to data center, supporting both centralized and work-from-home computing modules to improve efficiency and
Productivity.
that's right,
That's right.
productivity.
wasn't enough for me. Was it enough for you, Jacob?
I mean, there's not much
It,
energy
it wasn't
to
enough
give
for me
around.
either. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again, please.
To improve efficiency and
Productivity.
Yeah,
That's
a
That's
little
right.
bit.
That was good. That was a winner.
that was a good one.
That's the pop we need.
That's it.
Like the
Visit
Reds.
encore.tech. The
Jimmy
path
Pops.
to innovation begins here.
Where?
Right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when you say here, do you mean like
Is it
at
over
Encore
there?
or like in
Yeah.
where you're sitting, downtown Hamilton?
Where do you mean?
Where do you mean?
I mean, there, here, everywhere, you know. They're everywhere. Encore.
If you have technologies that need solved,
Salute.
Exactly.
Salute.
they have the solutions.
Exactly. They've got the
If
solution.
you need a salute for Encore, let's do it.
Yeah. Pawnee Water. Made right here in Hamilton, Ohio. Uses natural limestone filtration, unlike the artificial processing that other brands use. The result is a healthy alkaline water, and some say the best tasting water in the world. Visit Pawnee Water at PAHHNI water.com so you can buy that great tasting water. And one other little housekeeping note. We've got 112 people in this chat right now. We need some more likes, folks. We need to boost our status in the algorithm. And the only way we can do that is by
Likes are important.
likes. So please hit that like button. Tell a friend about us.
We post a video every day too after the show. So on our YouTube channel, it would really help us a lot if you got in there, you watched a little bit of it. I mean, you can put it on the background. Just give it a like, hit that thumbs up, and give us a comment. It really does help us out as we're trying to grow back our YouTube.
And now most of the time too, those are not from this show. That's stuff that we do
Correct.
that's
They're not
outside
clips
this. So
from the
it's
show.
completely new things. So
Yes.
yeah, check us out on those extra videos. Give it a like. We appreciate it. Especially Elliot's video. That did very, very well. There was a lot of likes on that. Share that with your friends. Like, it's funny. It's good content. It might help you cope with the Reds.
And please think about becoming a member, helping us out in that way. We're giving more and more content for members. We're going to have Quiplash and Box Lunch after today's show. Nick always does a preview for every series. I don't know if he released one for the Dodgers, but that's sort of Red stuff. We're doing watch-alongs for most day games. We're going to do challenges next week. I think I'm actually going to pitch to the guys in the room. So that'll be fun little content if you guys want to
If he hits me with a pitch, I'll quit.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time. All right, before we get back, just letting you guys know what we got planned for the rest of the show. We're going to talk about the college sports decision. We have a mailbag, and we have Reed's Top 5. That's going to round out the radio portion of the show, and then we're going to do chat power rankings. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. And we are back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers, 1410 Wing AM, your home for sports in the Miami Valley. I'm Reed Mouse, Casey McCollister, Elliott Rearing, Jacob Tissett, Jimmy Collins, all in the room today on this Off the Bench. This is the cast that you're going to get familiar with this summer as we pray that the Cincinnati Reds turn it around and give an exciting summer for the Southwest Ohio, Miami Valley, Ohio Valley area. But we're done talking about the Reds today. There was huge news. Perhaps some of the biggest news in since kind of this enclave of sports, NIL, and all these things, the world of college athletics is changing very fast and significantly. And another huge decision was announced today that it is now legal for the power conferences to start paying their players. Jacob, you were a cog we'll call you a cog in a very important athletic department. Nick Saban could not function without Jacob Tissett down there at Alabama. You're a big college sports fan, maybe the biggest in this room. What ramifications do you anticipate this decision will have on the world of college athletics?
I certainly think it changes everything. I mean, for at least the last NIL and transfer portal, obviously massive changes to the sport. This is the biggest one since then, and something that I think a lot of people knew was coming for some time with the growth of NIL collectives and the way money has been used to recruit high school athletes and even transfers with multi-million-dollar contracts being offered to some, 18, 19, 20-year-old players. And the NCAA doesn't have any control over those outside collectives since they aren't associated with the schools. This, even though at first glance, giving the schools the ability to walk into a room with a 16-year-old high school kid and offer him $1.5 million isn't the best thing when you hear it originally, it's been happening for about 4 or 5 years now legally with the collectives. And this, connecting it to the schools and adding a $20 million per year salary cap with all athletes is going to give the NCAA a semblance of some control over it, at least for the time being, while we figure out what this means for the future of those collectives.
I have a hard time imagining, right? These moves are becoming so big that it's hard to wrap your mind around about what college sports looked like 10 years ago and what they're going to look like 10 years from now. Casey, you're going to get a big paycheck here soon because your wife used to play college athletics.
Can't wait for that one to come in.
With these things. But I cannot wait because there's going to continue to be huge shifts in college athletics. Like, this isn't the last move that's going to be made. Obviously, NIL was kind of the first step towards that. I cannot wait for the documentary or something like that in 10 years, or the big scandal that comes out because of just the lawless West that has been going on the last few years, and that's going to continue to go on.
So I'm just reading up on this a little bit. I'm seeing that they're not technically employees still, though, right? So
No,
this is
no, you're not an
this
employee.
is just the funds that the school brings in that are outside of people making donations and other things, right? That's
it's
just
revenue
basic.
sharing. So TV
So
contracts.
it's whatever the TV. Okay,
Yeah, conference revenue, stuff like that.
gotcha. Okay, but there's a cap on it.
$20 million per year cap of all athletes across all sports. That's not just revenue sports. That's not just football. It's all sports. And my question, I guess, would be, what's the point of that rule if the collectives are allowed to stick around? Right. Ohio State spent $13-point-something million from their collectives, again, legally, on their roster for this year with transfers and high school students. What's the point of the cap if you can just supplement it with any amount of collective money?
Right.
You're still recruiting players. You're still giving the money directly to them and their families. The way this is read before, and again, nothing's finalized about what's going to happen with those collective, but the way this reads to me is that they're going to be done, or at least that money that the collectives are raising is going to have to be funneled through the school and count towards that $20 million cap.
So that's a huge that
would be my
monumental.
guess, but
That'd
again,
be monumental.
It would change how NIL has functioned for the last 5 years, certainly. Another thing that came out in there is a $2.7 billion settlement that the NCAA will pay out to athletes over the last decade. So going back to, I believe it was 2016, they're going to go back and pay athletes in the Power 5 conferences what an expectation of their earnings, obviously brought down for some stars, but I have no idea how that's going to be calculated and split up either.
I don't know how Pac-12, like, they are dissolving,
Right.
and they are still included to this. So, like, someone's with their dissolving, they're losing jobs. Like, they don't have people. Like, how are they going to figure out, hey, this used to be a Pac-12 member, they've got to give out money? I don't know how that's all going to sort out. It seems kind of like a cluster. But it's, as someone who I don't have a huge college fan base, right? I root for Xavier. I kind of root for a couple college football teams, mostly Notre Dame. But like it's hard for me to get enwrapped in all of college athletics. I know a great portion of you guys that watch the show, that's your biggest fandom. I know that's Jacob's biggest fandom. I know the Reds are probably Elliot's biggest fan, but right after that would be the Bearcats. Like, this is a big part of the way that they watch sports and the game, and I always say change is good, and I do anticipate that all these changes that happen to college athletics are good. I truly believe that. Long before athletes started getting paid, I thought that they should. But man, there's going to be some rough waters to traverse ahead. And it's gonna continue. Like it's gonna get worse before it gets better. This whole college athletics, all the things that people gripe with college athletics are just gonna continue to change because they're just trying to find their footing in this new era of everything. So I don't know where it goes.
I think it's tough. Like I've been around it a lot at Notre Dame with the podcast that I do there, and one of our co-hosts being a football player, and he's a walk-on, so he has said how it is tough for him being a walk-on compared to the other players and recruits. When the people had donated to the NIL collective, they wanted that money to go to recruiting, to the stars on the team, because they wanted to basically fund winning football, which was completely out of hand, especially in the South at schools like Texas A&M and even like LSU, funneling a bunch of money through to basically buy recruits, to buy best players, to buy transfers, and it didn't work, because you see a team like Michigan who had people donate money to get their players to come back for another year. They weren't buying recruits. Michigan isn't the best recruiting school in the country by any means. They have honestly kind of struggled at recruiting over the past couple of years, but they
got a good spy program.
They do, yeah. But they use their NIL collective to get these players to come back, and a lot of them actually went and donated the money somewhere, or put that money towards like a charity or something that they believed in. But I do think that having this salary cap kind of thing is better than having all these shady NIL deals, and I think that's their goal, or the NCAA's goal, is to avoid all this hundreds of $1 million coming in straight to the football program from some anonymous donor.
I cannot believe some of the NIL stories I hear.
Yeah.
A personal story that I have is I have a friend who has a younger brother that's a pretty prominent baseball player. He pitches in the Big 12. He was at another school before this, and he enters the transfer portal, and he gets called up from a couple major league teams, and they call him up and they say, "Hey, we're going to draft you with this pick. We're going to give you this much money. Would you sign?" And he already had – this is a relief pitcher. He already had, I think it was $150,000 to pitch this year in a Big 12 school. And not we're not talking SEC where they sell it out. We're talking they probably get fans, but it's not like this school is just has all the money in the world. And I could not believe it. He turned down getting drafted because he wanted to get $150,000. And I don't know what his stats are, but he probably only threw 50, 60 innings. He's getting paid $3,000. He's getting paid $1,000 an out at a low tier Big 12 school. I could not believe, because I kind of thought that the big NIL money just went to basketball players and football players, and that's just not the case, I guess. I cannot believe some of the NIL stuff. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show with a couple of segments. We got a mailbag. We got Reed's Top 5, that and more when you come back on 1410 Wing AM. All right, we are back on Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. So we get in, right? We get into the day, and the first thing we do whenever we get to the office is we check the mailbox.
That's right.
We check the mailbox, and today we had a special little letter.
We do have a special little letter, and this is a big one because I know, Jacob, you have not. Have you seen this segment? Were you here?
Of course.
Okay. Jim,
I wasn't here for it, but I've seen it.
You were not here for this, but you've
I've
seen this segment. Jim, you've never seen this segment either, so this is a fun one we like to do here. Kids from all around this great nation of ours, they send us letters regarding various sports topics, and we have a little conversation about it. So, Casey, run the track.
Yeah, let's play the hit.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from.
Whew. Got my letter.
Heater.
And this is a big one. This is probably the longest letter we've had in letter history.
I'm excited. They got carpal tunnel writing it.
What's up?
They got carpal tunnel writing.
That's right, they did. A little tiny kid just getting carpal tunnel. But here we go. Today's letter comes from little Rick, from Mr. Patino's class. Rick is a second grader at St. Pat's in Louisville. and he is on the fast track to becoming the greatest golfer of all time. He has a 3 handicap at just 8 years old. Incredible stuff. Rick went to Valhalla last weekend to watch his favorite golfer, Scottie Scheffler, try to win another major championship. But sadly, little Rick, on the way to the course, saw an egregious act. Scottie tried to escape the police and break through a crime scene, ruining an $80 pair of pants as he dragged an officer to the ground. Little Rick couldn't believe his eyes. So he went to the Louisville Police Department and requested the body cam footage of the incident because he backs the boys in blue. Little Rick does. Little Rick Pitino from Mr. Pitino's class.
Unfortunately, Pitino in Mr. Pitino's class?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they denied him access because the officer didn't activate the body cam footage, which is against policy. And this is again from Little Rick. Little Rick did some more digging. He found security footage from a mile away and noticed something peculiar. And I actually did send this to Casey, the footage. Turns out the police officer might have exaggerated the incident, as nowhere on the video does the police officer fall down or damage said $80 pair of pants. Little Rick will be filing a complaint against the department for slandering his favorite golfer. Little Rick wants to know, should Scottie Scheffler be able to sue the police department for slander?
Let me watch this video.
There he is. Oh,
I stopped his car.
Comes to a complete stop.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
wait, look.
Oh, that's irreparable damage.
Dang.
I still want to buy the pants.
And then
That is crazy.
That
Thank
video
you-
doesn't
thank-
even do it all the justice.
Thank you, Little Rick, for your question, because I happen to agree, if that really is all that happened, if that officer just ran to the car as he was entering the golf course and touched it, and then he came out and said that he was dragged to the ground and ruined an $80 pair of pants.
That is crazy.
That video did cut out some of it too. I think it's more egregious what happens after they stop the car, because they get inside his window, they're trying to climb into his window, trying to pull him out. After that, after going less than 5 miles an hour on a little curve, yeah, that's egregious.
Allegedly,
It's
that
horrible.
is the route that every golfer that entered Valhalla took that day.
What
That's
happened with
egregious.
that guy then? I just don't understand.
I think he pooped his pants.
I think that might have been it. That might have been it, because there's no
gastritis.
But I don't understand how the story got out that he dragged him. The quote was he dragged him to the ground.
That was written
Yeah,
in the arrest report.
Which
in
is
the police, in the arrest
Yeah.
report, I imagined
public.
him jumping on the hood and him driving and him literally dragging and holding on he's on a wave runner and just trying to stay afloat.
But that's all that happened. He stood there. He ran to the car. I think his shoulder bumped into the vehicle, and that was it.
It also looked like he swung at his window, like he was trying to break the window.
Yeah,
That
he was
is
trying to attack him.
insane. That is this story is one of the weirder stories in sports that I can remember.
And the lawyer is fighting for a postponement on the other side.
And I know this isn't it's the number one golfer in the world. It's not like this happened to some Joe Schmo.
No.
This is crazy.
No, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. They did say they are reprimanding that police officer. He is in trouble. He is being I don't know what kind of punishment there is. But if that's what he did and that's how bad he lied about it, there needs to be some sort of serious punishment. Or Scottie Scheffler should sue that police department.
Scottie Scheffler taking no time off. I'll be at the memorial.
He will be at the memorial.
I don't feel bad for that police officer at all because the worst is behind him. The pants are already damaged. Him getting
Another $80.
right, him losing his job or something like that can't be worse than the irreparable damage to those pants. But golly, that's the first time I saw that video. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
It was 6:30 a.m., right?
Yeah. When it's also
Clearly didn't have his coffee.
That police officer. That police officer was supposed to have body cam footage on. He was supposed that's
No.
part of the that's part of the thing.
He had the body camera, which is part of the policy, but according to Louisville PD yesterday, having it on is not part of their policy.
I saw that it was again. Well,
Really?
I saw during that specific scenario when they got all that going on. I saw that it was not having it on against policy.
Well, good for them.
So
You would think if you have the ability to have the body cam on,
You would
Yeah,
just have it on.
you'd have it on.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Does the battery run low? I don't know. But either way, tough scenes for the Louisville Police Department.
That's tough. That's tough.
We have an officer just legitimately lying and slandering one of the best golfers,
But he
the
lost
best
his
golfer
pants.
in the world.
But he lost his pants.
He lost his pants. Allegedly.
Irreparable damage to.
I
those
have
pants.
a theory. I don't think his pants were actually damaged.
Oh no!
I don't.
The
Oh,
inside.
no, that's your
The
theory?
inside of his pants.
Are you big?
That
Are
was
you
the
woke?
Inside
inside.
his pants were.
Are you woke on the pants?
I am woke on the pants.
You're woke on big pants.
Because I don't see a way those pants were damaged as he didn't fall to the ground as seen in that video.
Do you think he just got a cream-filled donut or something like that? What's the stereotype? The cops just eat a bunch of donuts. And
Yeah.
just got a little cream on the pants, and he's like,
Little stain.
I'm gonna arrest this
Yeah.
guy. I'll get a fresh pair of pants out of this. Irreparable damage to my pants. It's
Yeah,
just
I think
Bavarian
I
cream.
think that's what happened. If I'm gonna be honest, but we'll see.
All right.
Disappointing.
All right. Final segment of this show. We hadn't done a mailbag in a while. We haven't done Reads 5 in a while. So without further ado, have you guys seen that? You've seen Reads 5.
Yes.
You were around for Reads 5 last year. This is going to be Jimmy's first top 5. And what the subject matter of Reads top 5 today is something we talked about. How many fans had come to the Padres series. We said over under 42. They said it was over 42. I don't believe them. But with the way that the Reds are playing, I think that the Castellanis are worried. They thought this year was going to be a banger of a season where a lot of fans would come out, and now they are scrambling. How can we sell tickets? How can we sell tickets? So I have 5 things the Cincinnati Reds can do to sell more tickets this season, as they are 10 games under 500. So without further ado, here goes number 5. They've done this before. This is an old strategy of the Cincinnati Reds. And you piggyback on the popularity of the Bengals. Just start taking every Bengals player you can find. They're throwing out the first pitch.
I like this.
You remember back in 2022
Yeah.
after they traded everyone away and the Bengals just went to the Super Bowl? They're like, hey, Joe Burrow, you throw out a first pitch. Trey Hendrickson, you throw out a first pitch. Jamar Chase, first pitch. You get them all.
Really,
Down the list.
Really,
Down
what
the
they
list.
could do too is they could get all the Bengals and they could just play a 9-inning game before the Reds game. And if you want to stay for the second game, you can go ahead and do so. I obviously wouldn't, but you can just watch the Bengals baseball game, and it would be fun. I think that would be a really
Who on the
good.
Bengals roster would be better than the Reds player right now?
A classic Cincy doubleheader.
All of them.
Joe Burrow would have to be he'd be like the first guy that I think would be good at baseball.
I mean, I know we just lost him, but DJ Reader, pitcher and DH at Clemson, he
Was
could
he?
have
I didn't
stepped
know
in.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He could have
That's
stepped
a
in and been a
big
dog
boy.
right away. He
That-
was good too.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
One thing I will say is they actually have been doing this in Detroit for big games for the Wings and the Tigers, and every time a Lions player throws out the first pitch, or for the Wings, they do like the goal horn, like they'll do it before the game starts. We've won every single game.
Well, there you go.
12
So
in a
this
row.
could
It's
bring
working in
wins.
Detroit. So
this
yeah,
could bring wins.
They just got to line up 12 Bengals players, and they just have them go for 12 straight games.
13.
Even if they get it on the road,
Yeah.
you ask the team if a Bengal can throw a first pitch out there just to keep the win streak going. But that's how they can sell more tickets at home. That's number 5. Coming in number 4, a lot of talk. Elliot went around the street. We've had a couple segments on this show about what the Cincinnati Reds can do about their manager. I saw Mousecott put it in the chat not too long ago. David Bell might not be the problem, but he is the face of the problem. So I thought, how can the Reds kind of get excitement towards their manager, and why not have your number 1 mascot be the manager, Gapper? Have Gapper
yeah.
make the lineups. Have Gapper go on out to make the changes. You bring in Fernando Cruz, and Gapper just trots on out there. He's leaving feathers, a trail of feathers on the diamond. You have Gapper be the manager. Who knows? They might win a couple games. Can you imagine Gapper breaking some chairs?
Does he have feathers?
I don't know. I don't know what Gapper is. I will tell you, have you seen the Reds race, the mascot race?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Gapper isn't afraid to pull some hijinks to win a race.
No, there's a lot.
He pulls
That's the craziest part of Gapper is the hijinks.
What do you think Gapper's lexicon's like as the manager? He's not going out there. He doesn't speak English. He's going out there.
Right.
We're like,
How those press conferences
I think he
going?
speaks
Usually
gobbledygook.
guess.
Yeah, but he speaks wins and losses.
That's
And-
right.
And if he can go out there and win, and then he goes out and says that to, and you got to if you do that a couple times, I think Gapper could really lead this club to new heights.
You think Gapper or David Bell is going to be more? You can hear him audibly at the post game talks. David Bell's very monotone. You won't get monotone from Gapper.
No, he's
You
going to
won't
be
get-
filled with
won't get
excitement
much.
nonstop. He never misses coffee. He never misses his
That's
morning
true.
coffee.
That's true. All right, so Gapper as the manager coming in at number 4. Number 3, I've seen other teams do this. It's a way to kind of get the fans engaged into the game. And we talked about what's maybe the most exciting thing going on with the Cincinnati Reds, and that's Ellie De La Cruz's stolen bases. So you pull a promotion from maybe the best team in the National League, the Atlanta Braves, and you have Elly De La Cruz dress up as the Freeze, and he has a race against one of the fans across the outfield. You pluck Elly from shortstop. You say, hey, Elly, go put on this this bodysuit, and you're going to race a fan. Elly, going out there. Who can beat Elly De La Cruz in a race? And if you can, then you get a pinch run for Mike Ford for the rest of the season. But for that to happen, Mike Ford would, of course, have to get on base, which doesn't happen a whole lot. But Elly De La Cruz dressing up as the Freeze and racing a fan. Elliot, as a fan of nonsense at Great American Ballpark,
Sure.
would you like this?
I would love it. I think if you could replace Redzilla with this segment, I think it'd be a home run. I'd pay tickets just for this and leave. Get to the ballpark, get a $15 beer, $45 hot dog,
There you go.
and you watch a 1-minute race of Elly De La Cruz versus some unathletic guy they find in the crowd. I would love it. And by the way, do you think he'd lose one? Do you think he'd ever lose one?
I don't know.
He'd get tired playing a 162-game season
Yeah,
and
you're
running
right.
81 races.
You're
He'd
right.
get tired. That'd weigh on a man.
Yeah, just tagging him out there. Hey, it's 7th inning. You gotta go race the fan, Elly.
But what they
Gotta-
what they could do instead of Elly, like if he ever needs an off day, you do it with Mike Ford.
I was
Except
gonna-
Mike
yeah.
Ford gets the head start.
Well, this is how
Mike Ford gets like a 35-second head start, and then the random fan gets to run up to him.
Beat
even
Mike
better.
Ford.
What's DFA stand for? Designate for assignment.
That's
I've got
right.
an assignment for Bubba Thompson.
What's
You're
that?
the Freeze. Out in left field. There's something you can do.
That'd
You're
be
the
great.
Freeze. Bubba Thompson.
Are we sure
Elly
Bubba
De-
Thompson's not the Freeze?
Could be.
No, he could be.
could
You're right.
be.
What
You're
if,
right.
What if they put Mike Ford out there and every fan that beat him got season tickets?
That'd be giving away 81 season tickets then.
Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 2, we've talked about ways that they can, Bengals can start throwing out first pitches. Maybe you have Gapper as the manager, Elly De La Cruz as the Freeze. I like promotions, and the Reds do have fantastic promotions. 3-2-1 night, Bark in the Park. So I think that they should add on to their promotion. So more promotional nights. Some ideas that I had. You have Bark in the Park. Why not Meow in the matinee? Bring your kitty cat on out to the field. The problem is cats just go wherever they want, so you can just wander around. Kitty cat, and you just hear meows just running on up there, playing first base for whoever plays first base for the opposing team.
I really think this could elevate the Cincinnati Reds franchise in a way we've never seen. You think about a little kitty, and he's just sitting there on the seats, and he's purring, purr, says the kitty, and he's watching the Reds get just their face stomped in by whatever team walked into the Great American that night. But you have that animal with you. He's sitting on the lap. If you put him on a leash, listen, I'm not a big put the cat on the leash guy, but if you go that route, you can take him for a little walk in the ballpark. So you can see the old dollar section up in the
Yeah,
700,
that's right.
up in the 500. Go up there, take your cat around. They've got slides now.
Yeah.
Would there be a better joy than pushing your cat down a slide?
Pushing your hairless cat down the slide. That wasn't the only promotion I had. I have a few good ones. So we talk about tonight is fireworks night. Why not do fireworks before and after the game? You get people
That's
in
what
there
we need.
early,
Oh, yeah.
fireworks.
I like this.
And that way, you're not firing off fireworks after they lose. You can do it before they lose, too. So you can do them before and after.
And I
Another
think-
one, they give out bobbleheads.
Yeah, I would say the more bobbleheads, the better. And really, since really half the lineup nobody knows anyway because they're all from AAA, make them random, make them fun.
Herdebeest.
Like, let's say the 30th fan that enters the ballpark, they do a quick little mock-up and they give that fan away as a bobblehead. So now you're giving out fans away as bobbleheads to other fans, and really, everybody wants to be a bobblehead, right?
Zebra
how-
bobblehead night would be 50,000 fans.
I mean, how different really are all these little heads they make? I mean, they're mostly the same, just a little different in hair and eye color. But look, every fan can just bobble away when you get down to the ballpark.
And sometimes they don't even need to be humans that are bobbleheads. You can give out like a Noelve Marte syringe bobblehead.
Yes.
Like him just sticking one right in the
Better
right
yet,
in the
they
butt.
can give out
Just
free
lean it
syringes
over.
all the way. They can just
Yeah.
give out syringe night.
Noelve
Drop them
Marte
off on your
syringe
way out.
night.
Reuse
Yeah.
them next game.
But
That's
here's share.
right. Pass them around.
I've got one more. He broke me with that. I've got one more. But you get x-rays from Dr. Krimchek. Everyone comes on
Yes.
out there.
And they can't tell you whether it's broke or not.
They walk on in. You go,
Well, that's the fun. Well, that's the fun part. They're gonna say, "Hey, you're fine. You're available for the next day, but you're probably not."
The Reds have to have broken the record. I know Will Benson's going for the strikeout record. Nelly's going for the steals record. So we got those two going for us.
Yeah.
Have they broke the record for most incorrectly read X-rays by a professional sports team? What are we at,
I don't
3?
think so. I think they've broken the record.
We're at 3 in 40 games.
Now, it's called a medical practice. It's not an exact science. I feel like X-rays are pretty close to an exact science.
It's a picture, Reed.
Right, it's a picture. There's a break right there. There's no break. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't
picture.
know. Get X-rays from Dr. Krimchek, Nueve Marte, Syringe Night, all the good ones, Meow, and the Matinee. But coming in at number 1 on a very serious note is just get a series win. Maybe that'll get fans there.
I don't
Maybe
like
against
that
the
you ended
Dodgers.
this seriously because,
Yeah,
you're right.
You're probably
This
right.
is the most accurate one. You're right.
But actually, will it though? Because they were in the playoffs almost with a month to go last season,
Didn't go to game.
and just nobody showed up.
Well,
I think
shrinkflation.
shrinkflation.
12-game
right.
winning streak.
12. You know what?
The 10th, 11th
that's
as
right.
well.
You
That's
know what?
right.
Well, we'll do it live. We'll do it. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom.
Number 0.
12-game win streak. There we go. Update and boom.
Yep.
And there it
12-game win
is.
streak. There it is. That'll
would-
get the fans back in.
I would
here.
go.
See, I flip-flopped how I do this. Normally, I started serious and got sillier. I
Yeah.
started silly and got serious.
That
Yeah.
hurt more. That
Did it
definitely hurt more.
Hurt
yeah.
a little more. Hurt a little more.
But at the same time, it was out of all the things we said, it was probably the most far-fetched.
I would agree.
Like I think Noel v. Syringe Night. I think that there's a significant chance that happens before.
People forget I predicted a 3-6 homestand with 1 win against the Padres, a sweep against the Dodgers, and then winning the Cardinals series.
People do forget.
We're on
that.
track.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not about the wins and losses for the Cincinnati Reds.
Here's the thing: it never has been.
It's
It
not
never
about the
has
wins.
been.
You know what it is about?
It's about your friends and what you feel along the way.
It's about the friends we made along the way, and that's something to remember as we welcome in Kenner and Kev. As that concludes Off the Bench, presented by United Dairy Farmers. We will see you on Tuesday. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully the Reds get a series win against the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's what we're hoping for.
We will not be in on Monday.
We will not
right?
be in on Monday.
Just so for programming
Right,
note. Okay.
We'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Okay, just
It's
making sure.
Memorial Weekend. We are celebrating the holiday, so we will see you guys on Tuesday here on Off the Bench on 1410 Wing AM. Kenner and Kev up next.
Don't call it a comeback.
You're having a great day. As bad as your Thursday was, your Friday was even better. So we got 30 minutes left on the show before we go to box lunch. We will do Quiplash. We will conclude the show with chat power rankings. That'll be in the final 10 minutes, but I thought that was a good show. I thought that was fun on the radio.
I think that was our most fun show yet this week. I think
Yeah.
that we ended the week strong. Usually you end the week a little bit weaker because it's like, hey, it's the weekend. But I think we ended the week strong there.
I think Monday is normally our best show
Yeah.
because you get the whole weekend to talk
Get 3
about.
Reds games to talk about.
Right.
I think Tuesday is the worst day by far. I think Tuesday is like, all right, so we got through the whole weekend stuff.
Right.
And we're not close enough to the end of the weekend stuff. You're just dead. Tuesday stink. Tuesday, I gave Kenner my. What are your guys' weekday power rankings? Because I'm going
Ooh,
to rank
for the
mine
show?
real
For
quick.
the show?
Okay. Yeah.
I go Monday's 1.
Monday's one for me.
Monday's 1. Friday's 2. I think Friday's 2.
I think Thursday's
I'm a Thursday
two.
guy.
I think
Yeah, I think
Thursday's
Thursday's
two.
two.
You think Thursday?
Thursday's my favorite day of the week.
All right, Thursday's 2.
Friday would then be 3.
Yeah, I think, and then I'd put Thursday and then Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday's
Wednesday,
the worst.
Tuesday's the worst day of the
By
week.
a mile, yeah.
Yeah, it's but here's the thing about during football season, Tuesday's not bad because you have the Monday night game to talk
Action.
You get a breather.
Yeah.
Tuesday. So Sunday you talk about whatever the Bengals did, or Monday you talk about whatever the Bengals did. Tuesday you talk about the Monday night game on top of the Bengals stuff. Wednesday becomes kind of the drag because then by Thursday you can talk Thursday night. Friday you can talk about the upcoming Bengals game and whatever happened on Thursday night football. Wednesday's the hardest day during the football season, and also it changes during the baseball season because. Sometimes Wednesday's the end of the series. Sometimes Thursday's the end of the series. So you're just flip-flopping around. But always, universally, Monday's the easiest show to get through, without a doubt.
No question about it.
Without a doubt. If you can't, in all sincerity, if you can't get, I've said this before, we do 2 hours of content every single day. During football season, if you can't do 10 hours of content in a week, That's tough. Like but then again, we've always had exciting things to talk about with the Bengals. Like what happens if the Bengals are 2-15?
But I'll say this. I agree with you on Monday. I agree with you on during football season especially.
Yeah.
But I will say the format that the radio uses where like guys get legit just 6 minutes of downtime in between segments, 10-minute segments, it's like that, like it's so easy. Like again, not easy, but it's easier than what we do. I think there's a lot of radio hosts out there.
Well, we do. I think it's better for the viewers.
Well,
like,
100% it's better for the viewers. No,
You're actually getting
correct.
content
2 hours.
and
You're
not
getting 2 hours of
commercials.
content.
Commercials ruin everything. But I'm saying this: I bet there are a lot of radio hosts out there that could not do 2 hours uninterrupted every day.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot more than you think,
Yeah.
especially the older ones. But
Yeah.
Speaking of old radio,
you used to work.
you used to work in radio.
wait,
Forgot.
wait a minute, Casey, you.
No, he's not talking about me. He's
Was
talking
that
about
before
you.
or after you stormed the capital of Reds baseball?
I protest. I'm going to tell you this right now, though. If they get below 20 games under
You're
500,
protesting again?
I'll protest again.
If they get
About
swept,
We're gonna
what? What
record
would you
it.
protest? What have they
So.
done wrong?
yeah,
So?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
steroids.
That's a good point. Well, the Castellinis have never won anything, right? I'll tell you.
Go back to all reliable.
I'm gonna get back on this train because the Castellinis, they've had a year off from the hatred and the vitriol that they created for themselves. I'm gonna bring it right back. I'm gonna bring
might join
the
you.
sell the team Bob
I might join
T-shirts
you.
back.
Let's go.
You say you would do it?
I might join you. I'm not there yet.
I'm not there yet.
I might
I'm not there
join.
yet either. But I'm gonna tell you right now, when they get 20 games under 500, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna
You
protest.
say
I'm
that
gonna,
like it's an inevitability.
well, yeah.
So this season,
you think they're not gonna get under 20 games under 500?
I hope not. That's a lot of games under 500.
Hey Jacob, put on. I'm gonna give you. Let's play a game. Put up your one hand. Put up your one hand right now. How many games have they won in the month of May? Okay, so that's what we're talking about, and we're talking about 20 games under 500 is outrageous. No, it can happen. It will probably happen next month. So look forward to that.
It'll be interesting based on how this season goes, and I think a lot of fans, even though it's bleak right now, they're giving it a pass because of all of the injuries and stuff like that. At the end of the day, there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can't go out and Frankenstein a team. You can't go out. You're just hoping that the team plays better and gets healthier. So I think this year's mostly a pass. It'll be interesting to see if the team's fully healthy starting next year, and they don't start out well in April, how vibes are. That'll be interesting if they come out next April and things aren't going well. But that's for the future. You don't have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, we
You
can
don't
worry
have to
about that during the off season.
Right.
That'll talk about how bad they're going to be this coming season during.
Ooh,
this
the one thing I
offseason.
didn't get to bring up is I don't believe in curses. I don't believe in jinxes. But if I did, there's a direct correlation of when all the bad stuff started happening to the Reds and when the trip out west started.
You're right. I mean, there's
Matty
no doubt.
McClain, Noelve Marte, right when you guys are on the road.
There was an incident that happened with a pitcher down in AAA who has been really, really bad.
Really bad.
Really bad. When I say really bad, like worse than you can imagine bad. And some are saying one man cursed him. I'm not going to say who did that, but some are saying it around the greater Cincinnati area. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that Mark
Fetters wants to know where you were at the Bay of Pigs invasion.
This is a good question.
It's a good question. I don't know where I was. Unfortunately, that was
I can guess.
where.
Not alive.
No, I don't think I was. Yeah, listen. If next year things don't turn around, Reed's opinion, and he brought it up last week, maybe, or a week before that this whole prospect thing, there will not be a Reds fan. Let me say that again. There will not be the majority of Reds fans that get on board with that ever again.
So here's the
if
thing.
next year
So-
doesn't work.
So here's the thing.
This
about
year's
the Reds.
gone.
Yeah, which sucks.
Here's the thing,
'cause
it's the right path. Like prospects are how you win, right? When you're a small team, you have to do it via prospects. Like that is the mode. But all the hope, everything, all the dream that was sold last year when all these guys are coming up, if this current iteration of the Reds do not work, a vast majority, and I will say that these fans are in the wrong, but I'm just telling you how it is. The vast majority of the fans, if you bring up prospects, will roll their eyes. They might even MF you. They might just go like, hey, whatever. I was sold the prospect things. I bought in, and now it's all gone. So, like, the whole selling on prospects things will never work again. It won't. Because these fans are too hurt, I guess, is what it is. Too hurt.
Yeah, by the way,
And it's wrong. Don't get it wrong.
I forgot
they are wrong.
I forgot to shout out Brett Kennedy on the show. Brett Kennedy is now a Cincinnati Red. I don't know why Tony Santion's not a Cincinnati Red, but Brett Kennedy.
If I remember correctly, he was the Memorial Day starter last year. So
really?
Similar timing.
How about that? Good for Brett. Yeah, I'm not going to say, but here's the thing. I don't know if I can blame fans anymore for like the David Bell thing kind of gets on my nerve. And
that's the only one for me right now.
Because you can't.
You're just placing blame. You're just looking for somewhere to put blame.
There's no rational person out there that thinks somebody like Bruce Bochy can coach up Luke Maley and Jonathan India right now at the plate. There's just not a rational person that can think that. If you want to say make the change and light the spark, you can. I agree with that sentiment. I think there might be something to that. Doing nothing is doing the same as, it's the definition of insanity. You do the same thing over and over again, and it doesn't work. You're an insane person. So I get your argument if you're like, the Reds aren't doing anything good right now, so let's just get rid of the manager and hope that works. That argument's fine. But if your argument is David Bell's not doing enough with the roster he's been given, you just haven't been watching the games. Because these players are terrible. And respectfully, I say that with love. I love them all. I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan. I love them all. But right now, you can't argue, and I think the guys in the clubhouse right now wouldn't argue with me. They've been terrible.
And everyone's pointing at the last 6 years of David Bell. I understand those numbers aren't great, but after last year, everyone was pretty gung-ho on him. 12-game win streak, he got a lot of credit for that, so got an extension right after the year. So I think it's a lot of revisionist history on David Bell because you ask people going into the year, obviously expectations were high and we haven't lived up to it, but a lot of people were behind David Bell and the direction this team was trending.
I was as well, and that's what happens when you get the benefit of winning games. Like Nick Krall, people think Nick Krall is the greatest because of what happened with Ellie De La Cruz, and obviously you have some success, and they're going to associate you with that. And this is where Mr. Mo and people like this, I kind of see it. You're associating David Bell with the losses of the past 6 seasons if you include this one. When you don't have hot starts ever, and I mean ever, six straight seasons with David Bell, 6 straight losing records up until the 40-game mark. That's a fact. You can't argue with facts. So if I see that, I'm like, what's the constant from the past 6 years with all the roster changes, general manager, we've changed general managers. What's the one constant? I argue there's 2. One, the Castellinis, who I would say 99% of blame on, not maybe for this season, but for, the past 20 years, what they joined 2006, how many years that's been, 19 years. I blame the Castellinis a lot. And you can sit here and say, well, David Bell has also been a constant over the past 6 years, and that constant has been losing, that it's been the equation for losing. And I understand that. But saying all of it, David Bell is not fixing – no manager in the world is fixing this current offense. None. 0. Because they have to play good. And a manager can't force a guy to play good. And that's what it comes down to. That's my biggest crux. I know that's yours, and that's everybody's. But that's what it is. I'll tell you right now, if this season continues this way, yeah, fire him. I don't because I don't care really.
Yeah, I mean, if you're ending the season with 70 wins.
Yeah, at the end of
70 and 90, see ya.
I think Jacob's with me on that. And maybe Jimmy is too. I don't. The manager, fire him? Don't fire him. I don't care what you do with him because at the end of the day, if we have Spencer Steer hitting 110 over the past month, we're not going to win many games.
This team's just not sparkable. So if you think David Bell's going to get this team to 500 in the next month, you're wrong.
And I know I've made this point 15 times, and I'm going to make it again. I promise you, if you think the spark is Freddie Benavides, you have not been paying attention. You have not been paying attention.
Yeah, and one thing that I saw Honest Fan talking about is David Bell's making bad decisions. Like yesterday, not pinch hitting Tyler Stevenson, which, yes, that was a bad decision. And maybe if he did, that they win that one game. But no manager is going to make a perfect decision every single time in every single situation. And obviously, as a fan, you can look and point, if we had done this, we would have won the game. Well, guess what? You're not going to win 162 games a year. That's not going to happen. True. If you could make every single decision sitting on your couch, you would be the manager. I could be a manager. But you're not. And he's not going to make every single decision the right way. And he's lost half of his roster that he thought he was going to have. That's not his fault. So I do think, yes, maybe he made a bad decision one day. A couple times this season, he's made bad decisions, and that's frustrating when you're sitting on your couch at home 10 games below 500. But when you don't have half your roster, like Elliot's saying, that you thought you were going to have this season, and the guys who are in those spots aren't doing anything at the plate, you're not going to win games. And sure, maybe you can put the blame on him, but I just don't think it's productive.
Fair enough.
But and Mr. Mo just tuned in, and I think that's a fair point. He's saying nobody is saying Freddie Benavides is the spark. But at the same time, you are saying that, not you specifically, but the fan base is saying that because you want the spark to be fire David Bell.
If you think the Reds are making an outside hire in the middle of the season, you really don't know the Reds.
But yeah, if you think anybody else, if they're hiring some Paul Janisch is available, if you think Paul Janisch is going to come in and light the boys, if you think Barry Larkin is coming down from the booth with all that energy he brings, if you think he's coming down with that during the middle of a season, you have not been paying attention. There is no spark by firing David Bell because you are answering that spark with Freddie Benavides, and I say this with love and respect. Fan base is going to hate Freddie Benavides. They are. They're going to make the same exact comparisons, and then we've gotten nowhere. And at the end of the day, we fired then 2 managers over the course of 1 season, and what have you really accomplished with that? Wait until the season ends, see how they finish. If they're bad, get rid of them. That's fine by me. Get rid of them. I'd argue this season hasn't been his fault, but I can't argue with the fact that 6 seasons have gone by and he hasn't done anything. I can't make that argument. So, saying that, wait.
Honest Fan even puts in, I'm not even asking for a quote-unquote spark because the Reds are probably past that anyways.
Yeah, there's no spark.
Right. Well, it's just like
Yeah.
you get a spark.
That's totally
It's going to
fair.
need a lot
Yeah.
more than a spark to get this engine running.
Right.
It's going to need a lot more than a
Mr.
spark.
Mo says he wants me to read his whole comment, so I will read it.
Do you want to read it out loud or you just want to read it personally?
There is nice.
The crux of it is that he doesn't want David Bell to become the longest tenured coach.
Correct.
And I do somewhat agree with that. That's a bad look for the franchise if a coach that's never gone above 500 is the longest tenured coach.
That's fair.
People were mad at Marvin Lewis for just making the playoffs.
Right.
Imagine not making the playoffs and being 10-year coach of the Cincinnati Reds.
Fair enough.
All-star manager David Bell.
All-star manager. Let's
What?
check in on that win streak.
Let's give a.
Let's check in on that win streak.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, we got
This
chat power rankings.
This bit.
Does it hurt you?
Well, I'm just gonna say in August, like mid-August, that bit is gonna be great. When they've never even what?
We're like here.
Yeah.
It's going to get like here.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be really
It's
fun.
going to keep going until there aren't 12 games left in the season.
Yeah, it's
Well,
gonna,
here's
this
the thing
bit's
about
gonna get
being-
really annoying next month. Like
the
towards the end of next month, this bit will be terrible. But in August, it'll come back again.
Here's the thing about beating a dead horse. When you beat a dead horse, first the joke is funny. And then you keep playing it because you got to laugh. But you got to just get through
You
that,
have to.
that it being tired when everyone's just moaning and groaning at your joke. And then after you get past that, it's funny forever. It'll always be funny. So that's what we got to get there. We're it's not quite super tired yet, but it's getting there. And after we get super tired, it's just got to keep going.
Yeah.
If we
Keep
get to
going.
like 6 straight of either, it's going to be electric.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let's check one more time. 2 losses. All right, let's get into chat power rankings. I did the chat power rankings this week. Jimmy, you've got them next week.
Okay.
You've got them next week. We've got a long chat power rankings. We've got a very long one, so we've got 10 minutes to get through them. First up, we've got honorable mention. We've got a few honorable mentions to get to. In fact, we've got four tabs of honorable mentions. So the first honorable mention is Colton Melman, Mouse Cop, Chi-Town.
Yes.
Let's get a whoop, 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 whoop. All right. Second honorable mention, we got Tyler Dawley and Kerry Reihart. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, congratulations to them two. I think that might be their inauguration on the
Yeah, I
chat
think
power
it
rankings.
was.
So that's honorable mention. We've got some more new people to the chat power rankings. We've got Honest Fan, Rick S., Roger Straz, and Ricky Logan all in the honorable mention. Whoop, 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 whoop. And the final honorable mention list goes to Haro, Ricky Logan a second time, and John Silvani. So whoop, 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 whoop. All right, before we get to the top 10 of chat power rankings, we're going to send an SOS out to Sir Boy Wonder and Yash. Check in on your local Sir Boy Wonder and Yash.
We don't know where they are. They haven't been in the chat in a long time. Yash put in a cryptic.
Said he sent by
Yeah,
today.
he tweeted it too. So cryptic messages. Well, listen, if you're out there, we love you.
We do love you. We do love you. Also, congratulations. Molly started her new job. So whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Congratulations, Molly. I saw you got in the chat today. I hope you're loving your new job. because you deserve the world. Coming in last place before we get into the top 10, dead last, Sean Connor, per usual. Womp womp.
Wah, wah.
I love this show. All right, top 10. Coming in at number 10 is the guy who disagrees with me with everything. It's Mr. Mo. He was a Bluffton Beaver at one point. He said I was mean to him on the baseball field. I don't remember. But I can't wait for football season so we can hate each other for every single take that we have. Mr. Mo coming in at number 10. Whoop, 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 whoop. Coming in at number 9 is strongly becoming one of our biggest fans here at Chatterbox Sports. It's Nate. Nate coming in with a number 9 spot. Couldn't put you higher. Couldn't have an epithet. Like, we love you here. But you've been at the top of the rankings before, so we're going to put you in right here at number 9. It's a good spot for Nate Seltzer. So, whoop, 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 whoop. We're losing on the whoop whoops. We got to keep it going, guys.
Got to leave Reed hanging on one of these.
Okay.
All right. We were fighting so good with the whoop whoops. This guy just wants to talk sports, always. And he wants to talk Cincinnati sports. Of course, that is coming in at number 8, Natty Ron. Natty Ron, thank you for keeping us on task. Thank you for not letting us talk about other things than Cincinnati sports, because sometimes we just want to talk Cincinnati sports. And Natty Ron makes sure that we stay on task. So, whoop, whoop. Natty,
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
I
whoop.
was going to say, I guess they hate you. They think
No,
that they're
Natty
getting
gets his
me.
whoop.
They think they're getting me. They're getting you.
Whoop, whoop.
They're getting you.
Whoop.
I had fun with the whoop whoops. I think we should continue the whoop.
Let's continue.
I hope Brian B's on this list.
I'll continue.
Coming in at number 7 is RM, one of the ladies of the chat. RM is a. You're loaded up. RM, thank you so much for being in our chat every single day. You had a great week. You're coming in at number 7. Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Coming in at number 6 is Fred M. He's got the Forrest Gump picture as his picture. He stays on. He makes sure. I think he's like the most grounded out of our chat members, right? He comes in. He lets you know when you have a bad take. Lets you know when you have a good take, and he likes the silliness sometimes too. So Fred M, you're coming in at number 6. So we're getting to the top. Oh, sorry. Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Coming in at number 5, top 5. How else to start your top 5 than with the superstar Mark Fetters? Coming in at number 5, Mark Bonk and a whoop whoop.
I whoop, whoop.
Sorry.
Coming in at number 4, no top 5 of mine is complete without the Ramley, and that is Everett Henry. Everett, if we're not talking sports, he'll just have a full-blown conversation about whatever movie, whatever TV show he's on. I think him and Mouse Cop led a Survivor talk at one point during this week. You know what's funny about our chat is I know when we are putting good content out, when they are actually talking about what we're talking about, every once in a while they're just derailed with whatever it is. Survivor, sometimes it's the Harrison Butker stuff, but Everett, shout out to you. You got kickers in the news this week. You did that. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
3. Blackmore, I love you. Leader of Team Reed. So thank you for always supporting me. Thank you for supporting the show.
He gets
we're
legitimate
just
whoop.
spreading love out in the world. Blackmore is the leader. So whoop,
Womp,
whoop,
womp,
Blackmore.
womp, womp. Womp, womp.
Coming in at number 2, he drives a show truck. Drives a show truck, everyone. But Drew has been a loyal member of this show. There we go. Drew Garrison. It wasn't letting me put it up there. It's probably because they know that he's a show truck driver. He doesn't use that brand new Dodge Ram for any work. He uses it for show. But Drew, thank you for always watching the show. Thank you for being a valid member of the show. He's trying to take Trace's job here.
He is.
We're not going to spoil what the show looks like, but this desk probably isn't going to be here anymore. That's coming very soon. Drew, whoop, whoop. Coming in at number 1. And I'm giving him number 1.
Really?
Because he is right more than he's wrong.
Yeah.
He's
Yes,
right
USA vet. Shout out
consistently.
USA vet.
Evan Marrer.
Whoa.
Coming in at number 1 because he was right about Jonathan India
right.
last year. Yeah, listen, this guy knows ball. He knows ball. He'll fight with a Philadelphia's fan about who's better, Will Benson or Nick Castellanos. That's still holding true, even with Will Benson being as terrible as he is this year. He still has a better WAR than Nick Castellanos.
Both negative, so
Yeah, well, 3 times better. 3 times better mathematically. So 3 Will Bensons make 1 Nick Castellanos. Evan Marr, congratulations on number 1. Let's give a collective whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Congratulations, Evan. That was fun. That was a long chat power rankings. It doesn't have to be that long, Jimmy. You can make it whatever you want it to be.
It can be 2 people if you really wanted to be
In my opinion, I'm not part of this participation trophy culture that Reed's part of. That 30, 40 chat power rankings is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You got to cut that down to 10, 15.
Listen, I like the participation trophy. I love everyone that's in our chat, and I like honoring them all for being here. I like the guys that are new. We gave Honest Fan is someone who's new to the chat. We put him in the honorable mentions.
He's an honest fan.
Yeah. RM. Hoosier Tie didn't get in there. Got to be better, Hoosier Tie. Mike Ackley. Honorable mention. I didn't get Mike Ackley.
You forgot Mike
That's
Ackley.
a snub.
That's
a big time snub.
That's a snub.
Dang.
Sometimes people get snubbed, but you know who didn't get snubbed this year?
Oh,
You know who didn't get snubbed this year? David Bell, because he's an all-star. He's not an all-star snub.
David Bell was in our chat earlier.
He was.
He was in chat.
Alex Wallace, probably another snub. There's a lot of people in our chat. We love you, Alex.
Didn't you give Alex one?
Didn't I give Alex one? I don't know.
I thought you did.
Here we go. Whoop whoop for all the snubs. Ah, that was fun. That was fun, guys. What a fun little Friday show. And it's only going to get more fun for the members because we're going to do Quiplash. We're going to Bull Junk, then we're going to do Quiplash.
Yes, Scott.
Scott, instead of rooting for the Reds, let's root for the opponents to make outs. Ooh, that's a good one.
That is fun.
That is fun. Do you think the Dodgers have a bad lineup?
Yeah.
I'll be at the game tonight, guys.
You think if David Bell managed the Dodgers, they'd still win a lot of games?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think if I managed the Dodgers, they'd crack 100. Yeah.
Interesting how that works, isn't it?
If you're going to the game tonight, send me a message. I'll say hi.
I'll be there too.
Yeah, well, I'll be there. Love meeting you guys. So love meeting you guys out in the real world. We had Jolly Jolly right here in the studio yesterday. It was fun. That was the first time I ever met Jolly Jolly. So see you guys.
Drew says he is gone for good. Why, Drew? You were number 2.
Why are you gone for good? You were 2 this week. Is it because you have a show truck?
Drew was number 2 on the chat pairings. I don't know if Drew's ever been number 1.
I mean, because of the show truck, there's an easy fix.
He said
Just do a little work.
Yeah, just put some dirt. Put some dirt in the bed of that truck.
He
Even
said
though you have a
before.
short bed.
He said before that if he got snubbed, he was going to donate $5 and be gone for good. But he didn't get snubbed.
He didn't
so
get snubbed.
Maybe he just wanted to donate $5.
Nate said, "Are we going to the Cubs game all together in a couple weeks?" So I'm going next Thursday. I got to go out of town for that Friday, but I'm going next Thursday for sure. For sure.
The Tigers.
Hey guys, well, we got breaking news.
The Tigers will also be in town in July, and I will definitely be going then.
Oh, I see, Drew. I see, Drew.
The Reds team store has.
Don't repeat what Drew said. Don't do that.
We'll see you guys on Tuesday for the members. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Once again, we are not going to be here Monday. We are going to celebrate the holiday. I love Memorial Day weekend because it's the start of summer. It's the start of summer. Labor Day is the end of summer. So, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday. Let's hope for a Reds series win. They've lost 8 in a row. And what a way than to beat the best team in the national.
It's the Dodgers. They're all right.
It's the Dodgers. See you guys. See you next time on Off the Bench.